These two longtime rivals meet for the 113th time on a beautiful night for football at Wickersham Stadium. Hi, everybody, and welcome to Game Time on YurView. The Iowa Western Game of the Week is a city bragging right event. Alongside John Schreiner, I'm Gary Sharp. Megan Scolio will join us here in just a bit. Tonight, Thomas Jefferson and Abraham Lincoln. It's the Battle of Council Bluffs. And, John, it's been one-sided of late. 113th meeting, but it's been owned for the last decade by one school.
Well, that's true, Gary. And the last couple of times, it's been kind of wild finishes, and we're going to get into that as we go throughout the night. But I think the lineup tonight, the way this team stacks up for TJ, has those folks in the Thomas Jefferson district feeling pretty good about the way things could go tonight.
Abraham Lincoln is off to a slow start. They are 0-2. Last year, when they won in this game, their 10th in a row against their city rivals, they did it on the ground, in particular running back Lanny Herzog.
Yeah, Lanny Herzog is going to be the big key for the Abraham Lincoln offense tonight. He's kind of shifty. He's got some good burst when he gets into the open field. And this game last year, he was well over 200 yards. Really the driving force of that offense. He's going to be running behind a big fullback in Jasper Stottlemyre. They got to get him going early in this one.
For Thomas Jefferson, they are 1-1, and they feature the best running back in the state of Iowa in the class of 2019. We've now seen him for 3 years. Cameron Baker is the real deal.
Yeah, and you look at him just in warm-ups. The young man's got a man's body. He's just an impressive physical specimen, and he's got the running talent to go with it. Speed, power, agility. Cam Baker, absolutely the real deal.
As they say in this rivalry, records don't matter. All that matters is tonight. Kickoff is next. It's Game Time on YurView. Council Bluffs, Thomas Jefferson. Council Bluffs, Abraham Lincoln is next.
Schedule your campus visit today. Iowa Western. The world is waiting.
Welcome back to Game Time on YurView. The Iowa Western Game of the Week is right here in Council Bluffs tonight. Abraham Lincoln and Thomas Jefferson. There's John Schreiner. I'm Gary Sharp. The third member of our crew working the sidelines tonight is Megan Scolio. Megan, this series, the 113th meeting, has been one-sided, but
this has been quite the series between these last two teams. In fact, Abraham Lincoln hasn't lost this matchup once in the last decade. But Thomas Jefferson is coming into tonight looking for revenge. Last year, the Lynx were up 41-11 going into the fourth quarter when the Yellow Jackets put up 22 unanswered. Then a missed call on the onside kick denied them a chance to win. Abraham Lincoln won 41-33. Tonight, the Yellow Jackets look to end the Lynx reign. It should be a fun matchup.
Thanks, Megan. We'll have kickoff coming up next.
Look, it's almost alive.
Advertising used to be simple. Make an ad, put it on TV, get results. Today, with all the new viewing options, it's a lot more complex. At Cox Media, we make the complex simple. With precise targeting, transparency, and automation, we connect advertisers to audiences. Anyone, anywhere, on any screen. Advertising simplified. Contact Cox Media to learn more.
You're the decision maker, weighing every option to make the smartest choice. That's why you start with Nebraska Medicine, an entire network of top providers working together to keep you healthy. From extraordinary primary care to world-leading research and treatments, so you can be confident everyone's health is in good hands. The state's most comprehensive care in 19 locations. Nebraska Medicine.
You're watching this week's Game Time on YurView, the Iowa Western Game of the Week. It's a city rivalry as we welcome you back to Wickersham Stadium. Game time on YurView, the Iowa Western Game of the Week. Thomas Jefferson, 1-1. Abraham Lincoln, 0-2. Last year, AL came into this game 0-2 and 1 for the 10th straight year. So that old adage, throw out the records when these two teams meet, that is very true here. I'm Gary Sharp. There's John Schreiner. We'll check back in with Megan Scolio later on during this first half. But John, let's talk a little bit about some of the keys tonight. We know that Abraham Lincoln has struggled. They're off to an 0-2 start, and they have yet to score any points. They've given up 96. But what do they have to do tonight to get a victory?
Well, the 1-2 punch, the backfield tandem, Herzog and Stottlemyre. They were huge in this game a year ago. Pretty much the reason that AL was able to come out with that victory. 41 points through 3 quarters between the two of them on that offense, so they're going to have to get that inside-outside run game going. And second, conditioning. TJ's going to run the ball 50, 60, 65 times tonight. The fourth quarter is going to be so important. We saw it last year. They can wear you down. You're going to see a lot of Cam Baker and Cameron Lukavsky coming at you downhill. You're going to have to be well-conditioned in this one.
For Thomas Jefferson, as I mentioned, they are 1-1. They have eyes on the playoffs, and 10 straight years they have fallen in this rivalry, but an exciting offense. They feel they have the ingredients to do it this year. Yeah,
believe. Just the number one key here is put history where history belongs, in the past. 10 years does not matter tonight. Tonight matters tonight, and Thomas Jefferson has a talented roster. They have the ability to win this game. They just have to believe they can do it. Second, keep the game close. They made a storming comeback a year ago, but it was just too far, too big a deficit. Now, the defense doesn't have to play perfect, but they've got to keep them in it. And as we said, conditioning is going to play a factor in that fourth quarter. If they're within a touchdown in the fourth, you have to give them a good shot.
Thomas Jefferson student body, they've seen 2 wild games the last 2 years. In 2015, TJ was up 3 touchdowns. Last year, as Megan alluded to, they were behind going into the fourth quarter, scored 22 points and had a chance to recover an onside kick. So don't go anywhere. This has usually come down to the final horn here at beautiful Wickersham Stadium as the captains in the coin toss. Our referee tonight, Chris Ethan. This is Shorts weather. It's week number 3 for high school football in Iowa, just like it is back in Nebraska, and a great crowd has turned out. They'll talk about this game for 364 days after tonight. Bragging rights are on the line. 113th meeting all time. Abraham Lincoln leads the series 56, 48, and 8. TJ, only 3 wins in the last 21 years. And John, they have this traveling trophy, which has now been around for 5 years. Amazing that it took that long to get a traveling trophy, but Thomas Jefferson, their goal tonight is to put a little orange on that traveling trophy, and Thomas Jefferson will kick off to begin this one. An absolutely beautiful night. Temperatures in the mid-80s. It is Shorts weather in the middle of September. We're glad that you have made time to join us here on YurView for the Iowa Western Game of the Week. AL, TJ. TJ in the white, AL in the blue and the red. And we are underway with a short kickoff, fair catch. And the whistle sounds as the ball hits the turf on the fair catch. And that is where AL will start at the 38-yard line. There have been some strange plays in this game, a lot of big plays, as this has become a regular for our crew to come over here to Council Bluffs and deliver this contest to you.
Well, no strangeness about the relationships in this one. Everybody knows everybody. They all grew up together playing against each other in various sports as kids, and it means a lot in this city.
Herzog right away and is brought down by Cameron Baker. So our 2 players to keep an eye on, they meet right away as Baker takes down Herzog in the backfield for a loss. We'll talk a lot about Cameron Baker as we look at the Abraham Lincoln offense. Again, they have yet to score a point. They'll need a big night out of not only Herzog and Stottlemyre, as John alluded to, but the quarterback, Sean Lorenzen, who is back from last year.
Yeah, Lorenzen's got to play well. He needs to limit turnovers and get them into the right plays. This TJ defense can be an attack-minded D, so you got to pay attention.
Fumbled snap. It's going to be another loss, as you saw. Thomas Jefferson had 11 in the box. on that snap. And now it's going to be 3rd and long. And let's get a look at that defense. Much improved for TJ.
Yeah, and the one to watch here, we talked to Brant Anderson. He said Brady Carroll normally plays on the line, but he's going to move into the middle linebacker spot, and he's been a real bright spot on that defense.
Colton and Cody are senior twins. So it's 3rd down and 13. And motion on the line of scrimmage, and Abraham Lincoln to start this game a little discombobulated. We will hear from Chris Ethan. Here in Iowa, the officials are mic'd up. Just a fantastic setup here at Wickersham Stadium, which was redone a couple of years ago on a contribution from Gail Wickersham, an AL grad. False start on Abraham Lincoln. So since the opening kickoff of this game, they have gone back, they've gone back, and they've gone back now another 5 yards. And 3rd and a long way for the Lynx, who last year were 3 and 6. Battled some injuries, but won this game last year. Lorenzen in the shotgun. Pass out to the flat is well wide of the intended target. And Abraham Lincoln will have to punt the football away to begin this one.
It's not the way this game started a year ago. It was Herzog left, Stottlemyre right, Herzog up the middle. And Abraham Lincoln was scoring points in bunches through 3 quarters. But you see this TJ defense, just on that first series, they're not intimidated. They're ready to come downhill and play helmet-to-helmet football tonight.
Jasper Stottlemyre is the punter and gets the boot away. And it will roll inside of the 25-yard line before it will be down by Connor Ellis. So we get the opportunity to see Cameron Baker on offense. He was the Council Bluffs Player of the Year last year as a sophomore. An offense that has scored 28 and then 14 in their 2 games. They are led by Mitchell Flowers, who is in his 3rd year in the starting role. Thomas Jefferson 5-4 last year. They have high hopes of making the playoffs this year. They went from 1-8 to 5-4. Man in motion. But before the snap, we have a whistle and we'll have another penalty.
Yeah, and it's actually Colton Kinney who's going to get the start at quarterback tonight. I know that in their last game, Flowers got a little bit dinged and Kinney had to come in. And it looks like Colton Kinney will get the nod under center tonight.
Jared Masick going for the false start. Get a look at the TJ sideline. Tell you more about Brant Anderson, their head coach, here in a little bit. It's Colton Kinney on the toss. And a pickup of 3 yards. The Yellow Jackets, as we mentioned, 1-1. They love to run the ball out of that double wing. And they love to run it with number 25, Cameron Baker.
Yeah, 50 carries through their first 2 games. He went for 3 touchdowns in that span. So you're going to expect to see a heavy dose of 25.
We're going to talk a lot about Baker carrying the ball, but he was 2nd team All-State as a linebacker as a sophomore last year, and he's brought down behind the line of scrimmage.
Cameron Baker with the carry.
Isaac Lidgett with the tackle on Baker. You can look at that defense, the AL defense that has been gouged for 96 points. But John Wolf, their young head coach, said that he feels like they've made progress, even though it hasn't looked like that on the scoreboard in the first 2 weeks of the season.
Yep, and the 2 big-time offensive players flip over and play linebacker. And it's double duty for a lot of these AL guys.
Screen pass, Kinney running for his life out of the end zone, just throws it up. Loose, and they're going to call incomplete. And a flag thrown now.
I think they might get him for grounding.
Now checking to see who was in the area as Kinney was pressured and just kind of threw it up, but he was scrambling back to his own end zone.
Well, I think that they're lucky that this flag is dropped out.
Yep.
Quarterback, offense, 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. Down, 4th down.
He's very lucky that that penalty did not occur in the end zone, because had it been intentional grounding from the end zone, that's a safety, and it appears that the ball was thrown laterally.
No replay in high school. If there would have been replay, they would have taken the game time replay, and that would have been trouble for TJ. Remember, this series, again, no matter what the records are, there are strange things happen in this game. So both these teams have had the ball once, both have had to punt it away, and both have gone the wrong way during their series. And a flag before the snap.
Just some general sloppiness to start this one, for sure. Everybody kind of just, you know, getting their sea legs under them in the CB rivalry here. Get both sidelines and get things settled down. Take another look.
Look how far back Kenny goes, and he was at the 1. The ball will bounce in the end zone.
That's a backwards pass.
Great work by our camera crew and our replay. Kenny's punt is away, and it will be returned up the near sideline. Ben Fitcher brings it into TJ territory. Well, 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 TJ AL. Well, we kind of expect some strange things tonight at the Wick. This is Game Time on YurView, the Iowa Western Game of the Week, and we're back after this.
Okay, it's decision time. I want to experience a 4-year college in 2 years. I want to live on campus, but get to my career faster. I want to get started now. Find your path at iwcc.edu and get hands-on, real-world experience. Start now at Iowa Western.
Where will the next generation of caregivers come from? Who trains them? Who mentors them? Who inspires them? At CHI Health, we believe in the power of education. As partners with Creighton University, we're advancing a new era of academic health care. We're researching and collaborating to bring more minds to every case, every patient, every day. We're giving the future of care a new home. CHI Health. Imagine that.
Both teams have traded punts at Wickersham Stadium. Abraham Lincoln will have the ball starting in TJ territory. Coming up at halftime, we will chat with Don Kohler, Vice President of Marketing and Public Relations for Iowa Western, our partner here on Game Time. Iowa Western, such a strong presence in both of these high schools. They award more than $3 million in scholarships to students each year. We're looking forward to seeing Don. He's one of our favorites, and I'll chat with him coming up at halftime. Second time we have seen the Lynx offense, again, has not scored a point this year, but last year coming into this game, they hadn't scored either. And then they went out and put up 41, and they're going to be called for a penalty, a false start. So John described it perfectly. This is a sloppy start to this game. AL is pushed back 5 yards to the 42. AL has played Glenwood and then Lewis Central. Council Bluffs Lewis Central, number 6 in Class 4A, the largest class in the state of Iowa. And a quick hitter by Herzog up the middle, and he is spun down at the 30, and that's a pickup of 12.
And that's what he can do. Herzog will just hit you quick. They like running him between the tackles, as well as Stottlemyre, the fullback. You get a look there. Just spins a little bit out of that arm tackle for extra yardage.
Herzog picks up 6 yards
Maybe
on the carry.
That's the little jumping off point for Herzog in this Lynx offense.
Last year, Herzog and Stottlemyre combined for nearly 350 yards rushing and 6 touchdowns in this city game. Snap back to Lorenzen, and the workhorse plows right up the middle.
Herzog again, the ball carrier.
Herzog again, they're just going back to the well. Little pistol formation with Stottlemyre lined up tight to the line. Interesting look on that one, but a familiar looking play. Nothing too fancy out of the fancy formation, just Herzog straight ahead.
John Wolf looking for better production out of his offensive line after the first 2 weeks. Lanny Herzog doesn't need much of a hole. The junior quarterback, Sean Lorenzen, with a man in motion, snap back to him. And a handoff to Stottlemyre, the big fullback, held up and brought down by a host of Yellow Jackets.
Jasper Stottlemyre was at a football camp over the summer and earned the nickname the Dumpster. And you look at him and you see why. He's got tree trunks for thighs, goes about 250, fullback slash tailback. And it takes a few Yellow Jackets to bring him down.
Jason Salazar was the first to hit the 5'11", 245-pound senior. Lorenzen play action. Now pressured out of the pocket. He's on the run and he goes down and there's a flag right by his shoelaces.
Lorenzen, the ball carrier, brought down by Salazar.
Flags in that
There is a flag on
area
the
are
play.
generally going to be holding, especially when a quarterback has to scramble out of trouble.
So Chris Ethan going to become well known to our viewers tonight of Game Time on YurView.
Yeah, he's been busy already.
Sorting it out, he's talking to the TJ sideline. Ryan Anderson, the head coach of Thomas Jefferson. Now in his third year, he's a former Abraham Lincoln assistant.
Against the offense, I don't think it's declined. TJ takes over on down, first down.
So if you have your bingo card tonight, it is starting to become full of odd plays, and they're a great look. The helmet nearly ripped off as Jared Masick was rushing the quarterback. TJ has the football now. They had a punt the first time up. And out of that double wing, and a fumble! Still on the field. Still on the field. And it's recovered by A.L.
Wow.
The pile just kept trudging down the field, and then the ball squirted loose. Oh, my.
Yeah, and that's one of the staple plays of the double wing offense is the wedge. Just hand it to the up man. The offensive linemen don't really have assigned blocks. It's sort of like the flying V. They just move up field, try to stay tight together and keep pushing, and just gets ripped out of there. And it's Reggie Evans coming in to play fullback and just loses control of the football.
Last week in the loss to Glenwood by TJ, it was turnovers that did him in. Ball's on the turf again, picked up by Stottlemyre. And Stottlemyre is brought down in a collision. He ran smack dab into Jaden Steele and went down. He saved the yardage on that play. That could have been disastrous for AL.
Good courage from the 5'11", 165-pounder to go in there and meet Jasper Stottlemyre head on. You see it, the low snap, just Stottlemyre says, whoopsie, look what I found. And then watch this collision. Steele comes in, doesn't give up on the play, sticks his nose right in there, takes the big hit and takes the big man to the ground with it.
Flags and footballs have been on the ground more than players so far in this one. End around. Connor Ellis to the outside as he tiptoes along the boundary, stepping out of bounds for a good gain. Pick up a 13 and just short of the first down.
Well, another big third down here. And this AL offense is really yet to get on track. They've had, a couple of good plays in each of their possessions so far, but haven't been able to put anything together. Moving the chains here would do some good things for the confidence of this offense.
Third down and short. Herzog, second effort, lunged. He had to get to the 38. From here, it looks close. Great vantage point tonight, and it is a first down. That's key for AL. Would have brought up an interesting decision on fourth down, but they get a new set of downs and maybe a little momentum here.
See if we can see where Lanning Herzog's knee actually goes down. And I think the spot looks pretty good from that angle.
Daniel Mills reached out, grabbed onto the jersey with one hand, almost prevented that first down. It's first down and 10. Ball resting at the 38-yard line for AL. Halfway through the first quarter, no score. We've had some punts. We've had a turnover. Our first, a fumble by TJ, and that's what has led to the current drive by AL. Motion to the backfield. Pass to Herzog. Eluded one tackler and is brought down by a couple of TJ defenders before he picks up 3 yards. So John Wolf shaking up a little bit on offense. A couple of different formations, trying to keep TJ on the toes. Remember, first couple of snaps, they had all 11 in the box.
Yeah, and moving Herzog around. He'll line up in the backfield here. You see him kind of in the slot, and he comes in motion, and they throw the little flare pass to him. He's trying to put him in space and let him use a little bit of that shake and get downfield, but well defended, well read by that Yellow Jacket defense.
Herzog's got great speed. Why not? He's a sprinter on the track and field team in the spring. Lorenzen to throw, lobs it up, and it is intercepted. It is picked off by Thomas Jefferson as Lorenzen just kind of threw it up, and there's a flag on the field after the play ended. It's going to be a unsportsmanlike call. So one turnover leads to another.
Well, and it's Cameron Lukowski just playing center field back there. We'll see if it holds up.
Unsportsmanlike conduct, number 2, AL, number 10, TJ. That is both of their first unsportsmanlike conduct for the game.
So a 50-50 ball is won by Lukowski of Thomas Jefferson. We've had a fumble, we've had an interception, and we see the TJ offense, which had to punt the ball their first time out, and then on the first play of their last drive, they fumbled. It's Colton Kinney starting at quarterback against his twin brother Cody. Baker is the deep man, and here is Cameron Baker working behind that offensive line, and really not much room. Maybe got a yard for Baker, who has ran for 370 in the first 2 games.
And a little bit different look here offensively. Normally we see TJ line up in that double wing look, with Baker on one side, Lukowski on the other, but there was a little I formation, just a little half toss where he catches the pitch in the backfield and then just tries to find a hole.
One thing is noticeable to our viewers at home here on Game Time is there are hardly any splits by the offensive line.
No.
They are right on top of each other. Another short gain for TJ. It'll set up third down and long.
And that one's looked like a quarterback wedge, where the quarterback just, it looks like a quarterback sneak. But again, that wedge blocking up front where the line just stays tight together forms a little barrier, and just they kind of move down the field as a unit.
Typical drive, if TJ is playing well, would be like 12 plays, 80 yards, all on the ground. And they'll keep it on the ground on third down for Cameron Baker, working behind his blockers, trying to find room along the sideline. He's got a first down and extra yards. They're not going to bring down Cameron Baker with an arm tackle, and Baker gives TJ their first down of the night.
Yeah, he finds a little bit of room, and if he gets going, downhill. So tough to bring down. You see it right here. It's just a tiny little seam here. He darts through it, runs over one AL defender, and then it takes 3 more to usher him out of bounds. But a good gain. Way to move the chains for this TJ offense and keep the drive alive.
Baker is 6'2", 225, only a junior. Both in-state schools, Iowa and Iowa State, have a lot of interest. He is the #1 running back in the state of Iowa for 2019, and he's in motion. Fake handoff. Kinney keeps it, lunges for 3 yards, and everything has been inside so far for TJ. A little bit of a surprise to us in our pregame conversations on what Thomas Jefferson might do, because this is an offense that does have big play, high-scoring possibilities out of it.
It really does, and you know, people think, oh, double wing, they're just going to grind it down the field, but they can put points up.
Everybody is in tight. Lukowski with the pitch, and now he's got some room. He's to midfield, chased by 4 Lynx. Headed towards the end zone, he'll outrun everybody. From 70 yards, there on cue, thank you, the big play. Touchdown, TJ.
How about that? Cameron Lukowski, the other back in the backfield. We haven't mentioned him on offense just yet, but what vision, what patience to cut that thing back into green pastures. And then it was just a foot race, and it was one that Lukowski was going to win.
Officially 71 yards. So he makes an interception and scores a touchdown. As Thomas Jefferson lines up, they will go for 2. Here's Baker cutting to the outside. And the two-point conversion is good, and it's 8-0. And there's a flag down.
There's going to be a hold on the outside. And I'm not sure if it's the tight end, Cody Kinney, or if it was 76 Morales, but somebody on the outside there had a big hold of jersey.
So Chris Ethan, we're going to become good friends with Chris before the night's over.
And it was the wingback, Lukavsky, who scored the touchdown.
So now TJ will elect to kick the PAT. Grant Anderson in the sidelines. The experience and the confidence, much different at TJ this year. Went to the University of South Dakota in the summer, won a team camp. They have hopes of making the playoffs. He has taken this program from 1 win to 5 wins and 1-1 this year. And a PAT away from going up 7-0. The kick is up, and the kick is good. And it is 7-0.
There's the big playability that we were talking about, Gary. The game breakers. Two wingbacks, two running backs, and Cam Baker and Cameron Lukavsky. They can house it from just about anywhere.
Yeah, there's Brant Anderson, former assistant at AL. Likes that this is the second full year that his offensive and defensive systems have been in place. This being his 3rd year, but they will run the ball, and then they will run the ball some more, and they score on a 71-yard touchdown to lead 7-0. 3:28 to go in the first quarter from the field that is, by the way, home field to both of these schools. The kids, John, they call this the Wick.
The Wick.
We'll call it the Wickersham because it was quite a gracious donation from Gail Wickersham and his wife. Gail is a graduate of Abraham Lincoln. He owns a trucking firm in Omaha. And this is really a jewel for not only football, but soccer, track, and really the community of Council Bluffs.
You might have seen it over there off of Interstate 80, Wicks Truck Center off of 144th and I-80.
Little pooch kick. Squibs along the field turf, recovered by AL. Their backup quarterback, a good-looking freshman, Lennox Brown.
Lennox Brown with the recovery.
And AL will take over for the 4th time already here in the first quarter. They've had a punt, they lost the ball on downs, and then an interception thrown by Lorenzen, picked up by Lukavsky. And Lukavsky just went 71 for the game's first score.
Well, one of the things we talked about with Lorenzen is he don't want to give it to the other team, and he makes that critical error here in the first quarter. Now got to come back and redeem yourself, flush that last possession, and try to even the score.
There's a pass over the intended wide receiver's head.
Yeah, and I think that one is less about Lorenzen and more about the receiver. He didn't quite have his head turned around looking for that ball because it was coming in hot. And Spencer Decker, the wide receiver, got to have your head on a swivel and be ready for that one.
Last year, Lorenzen, 50% passer. Just a junior. A lot of youth on the field for both of these programs. 2nd down and 10 for the 41-yard line. 7-0 TJ. Here's Herzog. Not much running room over the right tackle. Seneca Calhoun, among others, in there for the Yellow Jackets.
And that's been the impressive thing through this first quarter is just what a difference a year makes in the Thomas Jefferson defense. At this point a year ago, AL was running all over the field, up and down, back and forth. And right now they've really stood up, bowed their necks, and shut down what can be a pretty potent offensive attack for the Lynx.
They have up 41 in this game last year. And bottom of your screen, you can do your own officiating at home. Wide receiver, a little anxious. Nate Kleigel on the offside for AL. Oh, we're going to say TJ first is into the neutral zone. So a break for AL, pushes it up 5 yards. That'll be 3rd down and short. So a key 3rd down. AL has converted 1 here in the first quarter. 3rd down and 2. Herzog will just run through a man over and for the 1st down.
Yeah, Herzog knew what he needed to get there. Didn't try anything fancy, just lowered the shoulder. Charged ahead, got the 1st down. Smart run by Herzog. Don't do anything fancy, just get what you can get the 1st down, keep your drive alive.
Talked about he's a sprinter in the spring on the track team. He's a 2-time state wrestling qualifier. We'll look at Lanny Herzog. 5'10", 175-pound senior. Stottlemyre is the man in the backfield, and the play clock before it ran out. John Wolf, 4th-year head coach, only 29 years old for AL, has taken a timeout. Coming up at halftime, learn more about Iowa Western. Don Kohler will join us. And if you are looking for a new career, speaking of Iowa Western, you can explore their programs in business, health, and technology online at iwcc.edu. Iowa Western, the world is waiting. It is homecoming weekend at Iowa Western. Their nationally ranked football team off to a 2-0 start. Scott Strohmeyer has them ranked number 7 in the junior college ranks. John Wolf here on now 1st down. John, last couple of minutes of the first quarter, what are you trying to establish?
Well, I think you just want to keep within your offensive system and keep running the ball. Keep throwing body punches and trying to get what you can get.
Pass into the flat, and a good move, and a 1st down pickup. Spencer Decker caught it, immediately turned upfield, took a couple of hits, and is the first down via the passing game for AL.
Well, a little redemption for Decker after he didn't get his head turned around in time. There it is, delivered right on the money. Just a little inside step, and Decker picks up another 1st down for the Lynx.
AL looking for the first win in week number 3 of the season. On the move, best drive of the night. They're now inside of the 40-yard line, and Lorenzen with a little bit of confidence. Man in motion, and a man in motion too soon.
They're going to get Lanny Herzog. He took off just a half beat too soon.
See a lot of different formations so far for AL. Push the Lynx back 5 yards. Look at John Wolf, former strong safety at Simpson College, Division III program, highly successful in Indianola, Iowa. 8-24 in his career as the head coach, and he's a graduate of Abraham Lincoln in 2006. That will age some of us on the YurView crew. It's 1st down and 15. Hand off to the up man, Stottlemyre. And he ran into Evans, who knocked him down. Just hit him up high and went Stottlemyre down hard. And great story, John. We'll talk more about as the night goes along with Reggie Evans.
Yeah, it's ill-advised to hit Jasper Stottlemyre up high, but Reggie Evans came with some thunder and just put a thumping on the big boy.
We're going to look at Reggie Evans. Yes. Born without a left arm. John did a fantastic story on Reggie and everything that he's overcome and how successful he has been on the football field. It's on YurView.com. And we'll highlight Reggie, and rightfully so, later on in the telecast tonight. Another penalty on AL will push him back as we traveled under a minute to go in a very sloppy first quarter in the city game. TJ on a 71-yard touchdown run, up 7-0.
But now this AL offense is in a big hole. And we saw that the last time they tried to throw the ball down the field, Lorenzen put it up in the air in a 50-50 ball.
Here's the toss to Ellis, and he gets drilled.
No, Great play by the nose tackle, Jason Salazar. Just 5'9" and 190 pounds, but you saw it right there, able to fight off the block and make the tackle in the backfield. And
look how excited he is.
Push this ALD offense a little bit further back.
You think the adrenaline is flowing through that body right now? Look at it. Jason's walking around, and that's how the first quarter will come to an end. He's got himself a highlight play. 7-0. TJ leads AL. Stay tuned for more Game Time on YurView after the break.
Charles Drew selected Cox Business because in the healthcare arena, it is imperative that we have transfer of data that is reliable, flexible, and fast. On average, Charles Drew Health Center has about 33,000 phone calls a month. With IP-Centrics, the system was very intuitive, and it allowed us to be reactionary to the needs of our patients. Cox Business Solutions has allowed us to be more efficient and effective in meeting the needs of the greater Omaha community. Cox Business is a great partner.
At Woodhouse Auto Family, the buying experience is different, and the over 27,000 customers who bought from us last year know why. Our knowledgeable sales staff know the brands, the products, and take time to get to know you and guide you to your perfect vehicle. And that experience continues with any of our 16 service locations, and with trained advisors and technicians to help you maintain your vehicle. Experience the difference. Purchase with confidence. This is Woodhouse.
When kids have internet access at home, they're more successful in the classroom. If your child is a K-12 student and your family receives government assistance, you could qualify for discounted Cox high-speed internet for only $9.95 a month. To enroll, call 855-222-3252 or visit cox.com/C2C. And while you're there, check out the Cox Digital Academy for educational tools and web tips for the whole family.
Welcome back to Game Time, the Iowa Western game of the week through one quarter. Thomas Jefferson leading Abraham Lincoln 7-0, and it's a 3rd down and 12 for AL. Lorenzen, the quarterback, with Herzog in motion. Lorenzen to put it up, looking downfield for 2 receivers, and he'll throw a second interception of the night. It's to the same man. Lukowski is tackled and then whipped to the ground by Connor Ellis, but the second interception for Lukowski, who already has a touchdown run. Now he has another 50-50 interception.
Well, again, Lorenzen, he just hangs this one in the air. He throws it way up high, and Lukowski, playing center field, just has a chance to sit back there, maybe have a sip of his soda, wait for that thing to come down out of the sky, and makes the interception and puts TJ in great field position once again.
Good sign for TJ. Defensive backfield has come up with 2 interceptions. They are without one of their top defensive backs, Emilio Rubio, who broke his fibula last week, is out 6 to 10 weeks, and he had 3 interceptions in week number 1 as Seneca Calhoun carries the ball for the first time tonight for the Yellow Jackets. 2 turnovers by AL. The last time on the interception, it turned into a touchdown by the guy that made the interception. John Schreiner, I'm Gary Sharp, Megan Scolio, and our entire Game Time crew here on YurView. Week 3 of the Iowa Western game of the week. Next week, a double dip for you. Thursday and Friday night football. Double wing. Big handoff. Inside man with it on some deception.
There you go.
Football with a big gain. First down all the way to the 25.
And Peterball is the 3rd man in the backfield that'll get some carries. And look at the patience there. He just waits for the hole to open up and then runs through a few tackles, gets into the secondary. Nick Peterball, 6 foot, 205 pounder, and he's a load to bring down.
In the tight set. And that same man again lunges for 5. Haven't seen Cameron Baker. He's been more of a decoy than somebody carrying the football early on.
He's had 1 important carry, that 3rd down carry when he picked up 12 and got the first down. But for the most part, you're right, Gary. He's just, the defense has to pay attention to him, and it's been Lukowski, Peterball, They've been carrying the mail for the most part.
Grant Anderson will tell you, as athletically gifted as Baker is, he might be the best blocker. Now some misdirection, inside handoff to Baker. And that was gobbled up and read nicely by the AL interior. Leading the charge was Tucker Wood for that Lynx defense, and now it's 3rd down and 5.
And this is an interesting spot as well, as we saw TJ kind of reluctant to kick that extra point perhaps, went for 2, ended up getting a penalty flag that forced him back, and then did kick it. So you wonder from this position, if you pick up 2 or 3, what does Brant Anderson do?
Up 7-0.
Nick Peterbaugh for carry.
Peterbaugh with a short gain, not enough for the 1st down, so you will have your question answered here.
Steinholz with the tackle.
And I think he's going to go for it. I don't think there's any question that this close, you're inside the 20, red zone as we like to call it. Haven't won this game in 10 years.
Officials timeout.
Why not? Just lay it all on the line, put your cards on the table. Defense has played really well so far, so trust your defense. Give the ball to your big man, Cam Baker. Let him churn out a couple of yards and pick a 1st down.
Only 3 times in the last 21 years has the team in orange won in this series. 10 straight belong to AL. 4th down and 3. Kinney pass, Baker out of the backfield, wheel route, hit the top of the helmet of the defender and bounced incomplete. Oh, we would say that that's a heads-up play by Ben Fitcher.
You would say that, but I like the play design. It almost looked like the AL defense didn't even pay attention until it was too late, but great recovery from Fitcher, ball just a little bit underthrown. If Kinney can throw that ball out in front of Cam Baker, there's no chance that Fitcher has a chance to get there.
I think we say this every year we come over here and do this game.
Yep.
Strange things happen. Nothing goes according to plan. Herzog. Boy, broke off a couple of tackles. Baker with a violent hit that Herzog spun away from for good yardage on 1st down.
Lanny Herzog on the carry.
Maybe this should just be the bingo card game, Gary. I think we were all over it last year. Onside kicks and interceptions returned for touchdowns, blocked field goals. This game usually has it all.
Lorenzen will put it up. And a good pass right to the boundary and a good reception by Nick Kleigel. That's a 1st down. It's a good bounce back for Lorenzen after he's thrown the interception.
1st down.
Consecutive possessions have ended with a Lorenzen interception, and this is a good confidence builder throw. Kleigel's just going to go out, get right along the sideline, run the little comeback route. And good job by Lorenzen. He puts it in a place where if his man doesn't catch it, nobody else will either.
Herzog again over left tackle, and he keeps pushing the pile. You see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 white jerseys around before Herzog has stood up and the whistle sounds, but another good gain. AL before that interception on their last possession had a good drive going, down 7-0 as we near the midway point of the 2nd quarter from Wickersham Stadium in Council Bluffs, Iowa. AL looking for the 1st win. They've been outscored the first 2 games, 96-0. Glenwood and Lewis Central. Last year they hadn't scored coming into this game in 8 quarters, and they put up 41. Go figure. Toss coming to the near side to Ellis, and there was really no running room at all. Ran into a trio of defenders.
Boy, it looks like one of these times when that slot receiver comes around and catches the pitch, he's going to stop and try to throw it downfield, doesn't it?
Yep. It's almost setting up for that. And John has been throughout his lifetime, has been a good predictor of the future. Got the crystal ball out here at our broadcast position. So look for that later on in the game. Or right here. Nope. Stottlemyre maybe got back to the line of scrimmage.
On the carry, stop
Peter
for no
Ball,
gain.
Baker
Brings up 4th down for the Lynx.
in there for the Yellow Jackets. A lot of gang tackling for TJ.
Well, the other thing that they've done nicely tonight is they haven't let Stottlemyre get ahead of steam. If you can stop him at the line of scrimmage before he really gets rolling and gets to that second level and becomes really hard to tackle, you've got a better shot at limiting his yards.
Second time of the night that Jasper Stottlemyre has punted, but before he does, Chris Ethan is going to count, and he's going to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Illegal substitution on AL. Will push him back 5 yards. 7-0. TJ with the lead. In the city game, bragging rights in town. The two teams will also play Lewis Central. This is the game that has gone the longest. The 113th edition on an absolutely gorgeous night for football in mid-September. Stottlemyre gets the punt away. And once again, it will bounce in a good roll for the Lynx. Inside of the 25, it'll be down at the 22. And TJ with the game's lone touchdown. They'll be on offense when you return for more Game Time on YurView from Council Bluffs.
At DiVentures, we want to create a full-service customer experience. Cox Business, as our technology partner, does exactly that. The team at Cox Business came in, took a look at our business, and recommended top-notch solutions. With IP-Centrics, we have a managed, scalable solution to meet all of our customer needs. We get hundreds of phone calls a day, thousands over the course of a week. Because we have Cox Business, we can focus on what we love to do, being on the water and in the water.
Where will the next generation of caregivers come from? Who trains them? Who mentors them? Who inspires them? At CHI Health, we believe in the power of education. As partners with Creighton University, we are advancing a new era of academic health care. We're researching and collaborating to bring more minds to every case, every patient, every day. We're giving the future of care a new home. CHI Health. Imagine that.
If it is Friday night in the Metro Omaha Council Bluffs area, it is game time. The Iowa Western game of the week in Council Bluffs. Thomas Jefferson leads Abraham Lincoln 7-0. And TJ is back on offense since the 71-yard touchdown run. Last opportunity, turned it over on downs, so they took a shot at the end zone. In tight formation. Flip to Baker. This time he has some room, and he has extra yardage. Nearly a first down run for a first down. Got 9. With a junior running back, Iowa Prep says he's the #1 running back in the state of Iowa.
And it doesn't look like he's got enough room to get to full speed. He's still moving so fast. It generates enough force to run over a tackler. A 9-yard gain on first down for Baker. That's a good setup for the rest of this series.
Top quarterback, top running back in Iowa's high school class of 2019 both reside here in Council Bluffs. Baker is the #1 running back. Lewis Central quarterback Max Duggan, who has offers from anywhere from Penn State to Iowa to Nebraska. The gunslinger for Lewis Central, but is unfortunately out for the next 4 to 6 weeks with a broken thumb. A injury that was suffered in Lewis Central's victory over AL last week. It's Baker, the first down run.
And LC offense didn't struggle without him, though. I mean, you lose, obviously.
Third play of the game, I believe.
Obviously, I mean, it's a huge loss for them. They still were able to put up 51 points against AL.
Got the feeling that Cameron Baker's starting to get loose. And penalty flags galore before the snap of the football. Ethan wants to talk to the rest of his crew because I think everybody on the crew except one threw a flag.
And he wants to know why the other one didn't.
Do your job, gentlemen!
5-yard penalty against AL. If you're wondering, Chris doesn't bring his own audio equipment. Got to practice speaking.
That's a tough one.
So rock, paper, scissors, penalty on AL. And here is TJ. Peterbond just mows right up the middle over the Big Eaters. And a big pickup, and now kind of start to feel a rhythm of this TJ offense.
Yeah, and that's the wedge play again, the staple of this double wing offense. And again, the offensive linemen do not have assigned blocks. It's not you block the D end, you block the D tackle, you go get linebacker. They just all move forward like a road grader as a unit, just creating space for the back.
Or they hand it off to the sports car, Cameron Baker, and he pinballs off a couple of defenders for 5 yards. Baker, who was born in the Omaha area, Ralston, and moved to Council Bluffs. Been playing football since he was 7 years old, and he will be able to choose where he plays at the next level. Fantastic individual on and off the field from a great family. His father, 6'5", Cameron's 6'2". Plays all over the field, anything they ask of him. Now in his 3rd year as one of the top players in the state of Iowa. Quarterback Colton Kinney's going to take a timeout. Didn't like the look when he came up to the line of scrimmage. 7-0 TJ, 3:46 to go here in the first half. And we'll talk to Don Kohler, Vice President of Marketing and Public Relations at halftime. Find out what's going on at Iowa Western, where if you are interested in an exciting career in media studies, if you would like to be like John and Megan, you can check out the opportunities in TV, radio, and sports promotions at Iowa Western. And you may find yourself interacting with Jake Ryan, which for some is great. For others, they might disagree with us. For more information, we kid because we care. We love Jake, and he's a proud supporter of Game Time on YurView. You can visit iwcc.edu, Iowa Western. The world is waiting. 2nd down and 5 is upcoming as you get a look at the offensive huddle and the timeout for Thomas Jefferson. The alma mater of current Omaha Storm Chaser manager, the AAA affiliate of the Kansas City Royals. During the summertime in Omaha, Brian Poldberg, a graduate of Thomas Jefferson. High school located along the main drag of Broadway here in Council Bluffs. 113 years these two schools have been meeting on the playing field. Not only football, they had a volleyball match last night. Again, there's John's fair play, not that one. The fumble recovered by Mason Roca. But that wedge play where it's kind of like traffic moving down the field.
Right. You sort of try, you know what an amoeba looks like? It's sort of like you just surround the ball carrier. He's the nucleus, and the amoeba just sort of flows down the field.
John Schreiner, science guy. How much of this offense, as we get the toss to Baker, running inside, running over one man, takes 4 to bring him down. How much of this offense, though, is predicated on just pure deception?
Well, I mean, so much with those two wings. You bring one around and hand to the fullback going back the other way. You've seen it once already where one wing comes around and does the inside handoff to the other wing coming the other way. And then you have, fake to the fullback, bring the wing around, as you saw Cam Baker run right there. Just a ton of misdirection plays that you can run out of this double wing formation.
Typical TJ drive. Long clock killing. We're already under 3 minutes to go. Pass by Kinney. Caught. Lukowski cutting to the outside to the end zone for the 2nd time tonight. There is a flag on the play, however.
Yeah, and Reggie Evans is going to get called for an illegal blindside block. And it's a point of emphasis in high school football across the country this year. You have to come with your hands first. You can't hit the blindside player with your shoulder.
Perfect description by John, because you see right behind Chris Ethan, they're explaining to Reggie Evans and his head coach, Brant Anderson. You get a good look at it here from our crew.
Yeah, Evans is going to be coming back toward the ball and right into your picture now. He comes with the shoulder first. If you come hands first on the blind side, it's not illegal. But if you go shoulder, they're trying to reduce the amount of, injury prone collisions. And you know, the studies had shown that that shoulder first collision with the blindside player was where most of those injuries were occurring. So you got to come hands first, and that's a point of emphasis now this year.
One thing we've learned right away, and we'll learn more about the great Reggie Evans' story, is he is not afraid of contact, offensively or defensively.
Not at all. He's, you know, he's not out there playing because it's a good story. He's out there playing because he's one of the best athletes on the team.
And he will have an opportunity to continue his football career at the next level. So second down, take the touchdown off the board. Here's Baker, and an inside handoff from Baker. Lukowski is tied up by Herzog. Good read by AL.
Yep, Herzog was right there, not fooled at all, looking for it all the way. Lukowski was coming back on the inside on the handoff from Baker. And now that's going to bring up a 3rd and long for this TJ offense. And again, in an interesting position. If you gain 5 or 6 yards here, you're kind of in between. What do you do?
That's John Schreiner. I'm Gary Sharp. Megan Scolio is on the field. Joe Ziske, our all-state statistician, back with us tonight. And our entire crew delivering great pictures in our yearly trip to Council Bluffs that has seen a lot of yellow flags on this beautiful field turf, and a lot of discussion from Chris Ethan. This penalty is on AL, and all of a sudden, after that 35-yard touchdown pass got taken off the board, TJ is starting to march towards the end zone again. Get a look at a number of the AL coaching staff.
Well, that penalty specifically is huge because it takes TJ from a 3rd and 7 to about a 3rd and 2, long 2.
22-yard line.
So a monster penalty on Abraham Lincoln right there.
And Peterball straight up the middle. Could not stop him.
There's some of that deception you were talking about, Gary. It was tough to tell on that play exactly who had the ball. That inside handoff, just running behind that offensive line, just mushing down the field, and Peterball almost broke that one for a touchdown.
They hurry up to the line of scrimmage, and they go right back to Peterball. This time for only a yard into the heart of that Lynx defense. Spencer Decker, Herzog, among others, that stacked up the 6', 205-pound senior running back. So second down and goal, now at the 5-yard line. Clock ticking. TJ has all of their timeouts remaining. They're up 7-0. There's a 71-yard touchdown run off of interception. Next possession for Lukowski. Here's Cameron Baker. Churning to the 1.
For about 3 yards, brings it
Clock still running, and it'll be 3rd down and goal now.
Something we haven't touched on is this TJ offense was the number 4 rushing offense in 4A in Iowa a year ago. Probably would have been higher, but the top 3 schools all played at least 2 games more than them. So it shows you the kind of firepower this offense really has.
Timeout taken by Thomas Jefferson. Iowa Western has the career choices that fit your busy schedule. Come to campus, study online, or enroll in evening classes now. Visit iwcc.edu. Again, just a beautiful night for football. Game time on YurView, the Iowa Western game of the week. Next week, Millard North and Creighton Prep. We're back on the Nebraska side of the Missouri River. Then we will also have next week Elkhorn and Omaha Scott. So Class A and Class B next week. And remember, you miss any of the action, and we're really disappointed if you're not with us every Friday night or when we are live. Yes, live this season. You can see all the highlights on demand, YurView.com. Tell your friends that you can watch live high school football this year. Game time on YurView. Follow us on social media. Check out the website, YurView.com. From across the country, we bring you the best games throughout high school football. 3rd down. Peterball leaps to the 1. No, it'll be 4th down.
And Well, you say pewter ball leaps. It was kind of a half-hearted leap, honestly. Normally, when you see a back trying to go leaping into the end zone, they go head first over and just throw their whole weight behind it. Pewter ball was kind of trying to land a little gingerly on the other side, and he got met pretty violently right over the top.
I will probably go out on a limb and say that Nick will not be in the spring on the high jump team or the long jump. So the timeout taken by TJ, and all of a sudden it is 4th down and goal at the 2, and such a strange game. The last 2 years that these two schools have hosted our crew, we have had some crazy games. 34-27. Last year, 41-33.
Don't forget, next weekend,
we're at one touchdown,
at
nearly at the end of the first half.
Where the varsity plays Sioux City North.
It's been a bit of a defensive battle.
And speaking of defense, when you're AL in the first 2 weeks of the season, John, you've given up 96 points to only give up a touchdown in the first half and have a chance here to stop TJ on 4th and goal. That's a feather in the cap of John Wolf and his staff.
Well,
4th down and goal.
Here's what I'm looking for on this play. TJ's gone inside, inside, inside. Watch for an outside run here.
The inside run, and will be stopped.
Lynch defense holds.
Wow.
Nick Peterball with the carry.
Third time was not a charm. Peterball stopped in the shadow of the goal line.
Look at that. Just great push up front from that AL defensive line to hold up and not give any space on the inside there. We've seen it throughout that whole drive that TJ O-line had been getting great movement on their blocks. Right there, that AL defensive line, great job standing up with their backs against the wall.
Again, coming into this game, AL 0-2. They've been outscored 96-0. So that defense was challenged this week for a rivalry game. Boy, have they shown up. They've contained Cameron Baker, and they stopped TJ, who had 4 downs from the 6-yard line. Stop him at the goal line. Now AL's got to be careful here with 35 seconds to go, because they're going to snap the ball into the end zone. Lorenzen will put it up. It is caught by Decker. So at least a little bit of breathing room. Baker on the tackle, his helmet comes off, and he'll have to leave the field for a play.
25 of the defense, his helmet came off. He must leave for one play.
Lorenzen's pass is complete to Decker.
Pass is completed to Decker, and Flowers just overruns it a little bit. Decker able to scoot back underneath. Had help coming from the inside, but Flowers just overran that one slightly, and you saw it on his face right there. He knew it.
The Reavers are back in action this season. That is the Iowa Western athletic program. They've got championship sports teams, including football and volleyball. To follow their progress, check out their schedule and more, go to GoReavers.com. Iowa Western, the world is waiting. Again, the football program, after a tough season last year, bounced back in a big way. They are 2-0. They're number 7 in the junior college ranks, and they play host to Fort Scott tomorrow night at Lewis Central High School, which is their home field. Another fabulous facility.
Tonight's game Saturday
Nearly
at
every
7 p.m. and Sunday at 1:30
large
p.m.
class
on Cox,
school in the state of
YurView
Iowa
channel
plays on
1013.
field turf. So rare now to see a natural grass surface anywhere outside of the major cities in either Nebraska or Iowa.
In the top classes, you just don't see it.
Southwest Iowa has made their mark on the high school football scene in the state of Iowa.
3. Ball spotted at the 9-yard line.
They host the semifinals and the finals in the state playoffs here in the Hawkeye State at the Unidome, which is a covered facility on the campus of the University of Northern Iowa over in Cedar Falls, Iowa, in eastern Iowa. 2nd down and 7. See how anxious Ayala is here. Lorenzen rolling out, looking downfield, lobs it deep down the field, and this pass is broken up. Bukowski almost had his 3rd interception of the first half.
That was close. I think he collided with his own man out there, Jaden Steele, or he probably would have picked it.
Stop the clock. Now it's 3rd down and 7. Lorenzen's.
Again, Lorenzen throws the ball so high when he throws it downfield. And look at that. And maybe it's the other way around. I think Steele had a good beat on that, and Lukowski came over and said, hey, I want number 3.
Threw it into double coverage. Now 3rd down and 7. And Lorenzen will throw it again, rolling out. Throwing on the run, lob down the field, and it's tipped away. Lukowski almost had another opportunity. Now what happens here is, it is 4th down. The clock stopped again, and TJ's going to get the football back.
Yeah.
So after stopping TJ at the half-inch line, they're able to complete 1 pass, but not anything else. And 3 straight passes, TJ's going to get the ball back, and he'll have fairly good field position with maybe a play to go.
Well, and look who's back to return to the Lynx. It's that man, number 7, Cameron Lukowski, who we saw go 71 late in that first quarter for the only touchdown of the game.
Also has 2 interceptions. Stottlemyre's punt high into the air. Fair catch is called and retrieved at the 47-yard line. So TJ will have a play. Again, they're not known for an offense that travels via the air. Traveling via the air at this stadium, you get in trouble with all the traffic that flies overhead headed towards Epley Airfield or out of Epley Airfield, the airport here in the metro Omaha area. They like to do it by the ground, so we'll see what they ask Colton Kinney to do with 9.5 seconds to go in the first half. 7-0 TJ. We'll talk to Don Kohler from Iowa Western coming up at halftime. Megan will have a chat with our coaches at halftime. We'll check in on the sounds of Abraham Lincoln. We'll have stats and highlights from the city rivalry, which for 10 straight years has been won by AL.
First down for the Jackets. Ball's on the 47-yard line.
A little bit of a spread formation for the Jackets here. This is interesting.
And the play clock had expired.
Play clock expired out of a timeout.
That is not in the Coaching 101 handbook. And that will not make Brant Anderson happy to see him. Okay, there's the play clock. This is what we got to do. It'll be very interesting to hear the comments from both head coaches to Megan Scolio. They may have 2 entirely different viewpoints of this game. And regardless if you're on top or behind. This pass to Baker tipped away, and they're going to have one more play because that play only ran 5 seconds off the clock. I would think that John Wolf is very encouraged by this first half. Well, Brant Anderson probably is a little discouraged, and he's up 7-0.
Yeah, both defenses have to feel pretty good. But you see what the idea is here. Cam Baker, your big-time D1 recruit, stud, put him on the outside, throw a jump ball, see what he can get. Now with 4 seconds, you'd expect him to keep it on the ground.
And nope, they're going to put it up. Little trickery, and the pass is completed, and it is knocked out of the hands of the receiver. Loose on the field, recovered by AL. And wouldn't you think that would be the way the first half would end? Yes, it does. Strange first half, but this is what happens in this game. Sets us up for a great final 24, maybe more. 7-0 as you get a look at the final play of the first half. TJ on top.
Well, I'm wondering if they even called it a completed pass and a fumble, or if it was incomplete. And it looked like the official at the end signaled a catch and a fumble. So a completed pass with a fumble is how the first half comes to a close. And what a wild one it's been. Both teams have at times struggled moving the ball. Both teams have made some pretty good defensive plays. Cameron Lukowski with 2 interceptions in that first half and the 71-yard touchdown run. But as we've said, a bingo card game every time we come over, and the 2017 edition is no different at all. Wild one. It's 7-0. TJ in the lead. Both teams traded 3 and outs to start the game. Lackluster start, but it's been wild ever since. We're going to go down to the field now. Megan Scolio is with Brant Anderson.
Coach, you guys had almost 4 interceptions, 2 for sure. Great stops. What do you think of your overall defensive effort?
Defense was playing great. You know, we just got to be solid on the run game because they got a couple good running backs over there.
Cameron Lakowski, especially, what do you think of his performance?
He's playing real well. First game at free safety tonight. He was playing corner. We had to move him over because of an injury. He's playing real well, real heady back there.
Thanks, Coach.
Well, there you hear it. Brant Anderson very pleased with his defense's effort tonight, and well, he should be. A shutout through the first half. 7-0. TJ leads it.
When kids have internet access at home, they're more successful in the classroom. If your child is a K-12 student and your family receives government assistance, you could qualify for discounted Cox high-speed internet for only $9.95 a month. To enroll, call 855-222-3252 or visit cox.com/C2C. And while you're there, check out the Cox Digital Academy for educational tools and web tips for the whole family.
Okay, it's decision time. I want flexibility, more doing, hands-on experience, and working sooner. I gotta make a choice. I want to get started, now. Find your path at iwcc.edu and get hands-on real-world experience. Start now at Iowa Western.
Bouncy ball. Look, it's almost alive.
Advertising used to be simple. Make an ad, put it on TV, get results. Today, with all the new viewing options, it's a lot more complex. At Cox Media, we make the complex simple. With precise targeting, transparency, and automation, we connect advertisers to audiences. Anyone, anywhere, on any screen. Advertising simplified. Contact Cox Media to learn more.
Welcome back to Game Time on YurView, presented by Iowa Western. Thomas Jefferson leads it 7-0 over the Lynx from Abraham Lincoln. We go down to the field now where Gary Sharp is with a very special guest.
It is halftime here at Wickersham Stadium on the Game Time Game of the Week on YurView. Thomas Jefferson leads Abraham Lincoln by a score of 7-0. Joined now by the Vice President of Marketing and Public Relations at Iowa Western Community College, Don Kohler. The slogan, and first of all, another great year of partnership between us and Iowa Western. The slogan is "The world is waiting," but if anybody has been on campus lately, you guys aren't waiting. New facilities going up and enrollment as well.
Yeah, this has been an exciting start to the year for us because the fall sports season is underway. The teams are doing great. Enrollment is doing great, and we've broke ground on a brand new, what will be at this time next year, a new 80,000 square foot student recreation facility, and so there'll be a real nice addition to our campus next year.
This is an exciting time not only for the students and the athletes, but also a big weekend. This is homecoming and a big night tonight because it is the Hall of Fame induction for 4 individuals who had a big impact on Iowa Western athletics.
Yes, it's really kind of an emotional night as well. I was there earlier, and we're inducting our legendary basketball coach Jim Morris, and then one of his players, Derwin Kitchen, who went on to star at Florida State and is now playing professionally overseas. And we also inducted Jared Ebert, our first Division I football recruit, who went on to play at the University of Oregon. And of course, John Lieber, Major League Baseball star who starred with the Cubs. So it was a big night on campus.
And I know you get asked a lot because you're a big football fan as well. Great start to the football season, 2-0. Scott Strohmeyer's team is number 7 in the country. Fort Scott tomorrow night.
It's going to be, believe it or not, a test. All the games against the Jayhawk Conference teams are a test because the Jayhawk Conference is a premier football conference. But I think Scott Strohmeyer will have the team ready, as usual.
Hey, we always talk about the success of Iowa Western and so many things that your university does inside of the Council Bluffs community and the surrounding area. Over 100 programs of study now at Iowa Western. New buildings, new students from different parts of the country are showing up in Council Bluffs. When you talk to students and you talk to alums, what do they say why they chose Iowa Western? Because as you know, Don, there's a lot of options for people in their post-secondary education, but why Iowa Western?
Well, we've tried to create a real campus environment at Iowa Western, and our goal is to get people to come to campus and visit, because once they do, I think that they can see all the facilities that we offer and the programs, and so our goal is to get them to visit. And usually our alum are saying the same thing, right? I mean, the people that have graduated 20 years ago are coming back to campus now saying, hey, where was this when we were here 20 years ago? But it took us a while to get to this point, but we keep growing and we're excited about it. And clearly we have a partnership with all the schools in the area, and there's nothing better than a ALTJ game, right? So we love being a part of the community, and we hope to continue to grow.
Always great to see you, and again, thank you very much. We're excited for another year with Iowa Western with us.
And I brought a prize for you and your co-host, and go Reavers.
That's Don Kolar, who is the Vice President of Marketing and Public Relations at Iowa Western. Halftime here at Wickersham Stadium, TJ 7, AL nothing. Stats, highlights, and the sounds of the AL Marching Band coming up after this.
You're the decision maker, weighing every option to make the smartest choice. That's why you start with Nebraska Medicine, an entire network of top providers working together to keep you healthy. From extraordinary primary care to world-leading research and treatments, so you can be
to every case, every patient, every day. We're giving the future of care a new home. CHI Health. Imagine that.
Game time in the Iowa Western Game of the Week at halftime, 7-0. Thomas Jefferson leads Abraham Lincoln. With John Schreiner, I'm Gary Sharp. Megan Scolio. We'll have more here during halftime. 7-0, no scoring in the second quarter. We'll see what adjustments both staffs make after halftime, because the stats are a little bit here and there. If it's some penalties, not very many big plays, and some of the big plays we'll see right here, John.
Yeah, we're going to start things off with a play that, well, we disagree with the call in the field. This is a backwards pass. You see, thrown from outside the end zone, ends up in the end zone. It ends up in the hands of an AL player. Probably should have been an early touchdown, but such is life. And the game goes on. AL does end up getting a turnover later on in the drive. But it's that TJ rushing offense. We've talked so much about it, and it had its moments. It was effective at times, and one big time. Cameron Lukowski, the 71-yard touchdown in the first quarter. That's the only score of this ball game so far. Lukowski, 2 interceptions in that first half. His first one set up that big touchdown, and Lenny Herzog's been bottled up for the most part, as has the big boy Jasper Stottlemyre. Here's one of those interceptions by Lukowski. Playing center field. That one to start the second quarter. And it looked like it was going to be all TJ, but backs to the wall. This AL defense bent under the weight of Nick Pewterball. But it did not break. Pewterball would drive them inside the 1, and it would be a touchdown. Nope. Off the helmet, looking for Cam Baker. Then Lorenzen found a little bit of confidence, made a nice throw here, got the Lynx out of some trouble. They would eventually have to punt it away. Back to the ground. Here comes TJ again. Pewterball, the wedge play. They ran it a bunch. Baker would have a nice carry, running through tackles. And on this drive, TJ would move it all the way down inside the 5, eventually down to the 1. And on 4th down, that AL defense bowed its neck, stood up, and denied TJ the end zone. And that's how the first half ended. Here, a look at your stats.
Not much yardage. TJ 190 yards on the ground, but AL haven't done much offensively. They made that goal line stand, but down only 7-0, you would take it. Now, what has to be cleaned up on both sides is the penalties. Also the turnovers. Really kind of a strange first half, but we've come to expect that in this rivalry.
And one of the turnovers for Thomas Jefferson was the catch fumble by Baker to end the half that really has no impact on the game. So yes, it's 2-2 in turnovers, but effectively it's 2-1. The fumble early on by Evans and the 2 interceptions by Lukavsky. So you have to say that TJ is winning the turnover battle, even though it's even at 2, and definitely winning the ground game, 190-36. Absolutely punishing rushing attack for the Jackets.
Second half kickoff is upcoming. TJ 7, AL nothing. More Game Time on YurView after this.
Look, it's almost alive.
Advertising used to be simple. Make an ad, put it on TV, get results. Today, with all the new viewing options, it's a lot more complex. At Cox Media, we make the complex simple. With precise targeting, transparency, and automation, we connect advertisers to audiences. Anyone, anywhere, on any screen. Advertising simplified. Contact Cox Media to learn more.
Okay, it's decision time. I want to experience a 4-year college in 2 years. I want to live on campus, but get to my career faster. I want to get started now. Find your path at iwcc.edu and get hands-on, real-world experience. Start now at Iowa Western.
All of our registration systems and the staff systems are based in the cloud, so it's important that our internet connectivity is up all the time. To me, it was clear as soon as we met with Cox Business, they were going to listen to what we needed and design a solution for what was going to be best for us. Having Cox Business as our one provider has allowed us to more easily manage our daily processes. If anything happens or if there's anything I need changed, it's just a phone call or an email away.
Week number 3 of the high school season. Everybody wave. We're right there. We're in the middle in front of the press box. John waved to everybody at home. There we go. Hello to you. Watching us on YurView, YurView.com. Maybe you're watching us later. We look the same. We sound the same. We hope that we do not have the same first half. A little clunky.
Yeah, disjointed. A little sloppy in places. Really punctuated by big plays, both offensively and defensively, with a lot of mishaps and miscommunications in between.
Abraham Lincoln coming back out onto the field. Again, we'll be very curious to see the adjustments that were made. Because in the second half, this means a lot. AL has won 10 in a row. They've heard about it all year. By continuing this streak, we'll see if they can rally. Let's go back down to the field. Let's find out what adjustments were made in the locker room. Here's Megan Scolio. Megan?
All right, Coach, you had a big 4th-and-1 stop at the end of the second quarter. How do you guys build off that momentum heading into the second half?
Defense is playing great. You know, what's confusing, and we talked to our guys about this, is we have a great stop like that. We turn around and have the same guys on offense, and we're not moving them off the ball, right? So we got to get those guys moved up front offensively. We need to move the football.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Thanks, Megan. Thanks, Coach John Wolf. And Abraham Lincoln looking for their first victory of the year. They're still looking for their first points. But after having trouble in the first 2 weeks on defense, they have really played well here. They bowed up and stopped Thomas Jefferson on 4 downs inside of the 6-yard line.
It's been a really good job by those linebackers of not getting caught up on the misdirection. We've seen him run, Thomas Jefferson that is, that little inside reverse a couple of times, and it hasn't been effective, and that's usually one of the game breakers. The defense starts to over pursue on the sweep, and then coming backside with that inside handoff, and you find some green space on the backside. But a great job by those linebackers of staying home, reading their keys, and being in the right spot, and not allowing big plays off those misdirection plays. The one big play that TJ had was a really patient run from Lukavsky where he cut it back as the defense had been pushed to one side, and then it was a foot race to the outside. But all in all, pretty good defense played by both teams.
And there was a discussion at halftime as both teams were coming off the field with the referee Chris Ethan about when the play clock is being started. So there was a long discussion between the head coaches and the referee on when he is starting the play clock, because we saw a few delay of game penalties. So any confusion, hopefully they've gotten that fixed, because both head coaches were not happy with some key penalties that stalled some drives there in the first 24 minutes of football on a Friday night.
Yeah, and neither team has played probably as sharp as they wanted to. And when you're not sharp, penalties only compound it. It just makes it 10 times worse. So if you don't necessarily have your A game and you feel like perhaps that there's some procedural stuff going on that's costing you some hidden yards in the penalties, that's something that's gonna, it's like a pebble in a coach's shoe. He's just gonna grate on him, and you know, it's grated on both these coaches throughout a half, and they had a word with our official down there in the corner of the end zone.
So AL will kick off the TJ. The touchdown maker, Cameron Baker, has been quiet in the first half.
On his perfect night for football.
Well, I think it's big for TJ to get the ball here. If they can come out and put points on the board, make this a 2-score game, the hole's going to feel a little bit deeper for AL, because right now they haven't really done anything offensively. Just over 60 yards of total offense through a half of football. But the scoreboard says they're only down a score. But if they go down 2 scores, having done really nothing on offense, it's going to feel a little different.
Here's a short kickoff. Picked up at the 25-yard line. Bukowski at about 6-7 yards. We were talking at halftime with Don Kohler, and he was talking about the Hall of Fame class that's going in tonight at Iowa Western. Don's a busy guy who just had come from the induction ceremonies. John Lieber, who is a former Major League pitcher, most notably with the Cubs, is a graduate of Abraham Lincoln. Some really good baseball in Council Bluffs, and in Iowa, their high school baseball is played during the summer, unlike Nebraska, which is played in the spring. Both sides of the river play very good football. Opening drive of the second half, it begins at the 33-yard line for TJ. And here is Baker.
Cameron Baker plows ahead for about 7 yards.
Patience. That's if you're a back in this offense, you have to be patient, because you're going to have to stay behind that offensive line that's just kind of mushing down the field. And here it is. Baker reading a block, staying behind, gets on the hip of actually a defensive lineman, and just pushes him down the field a ways.
Good job by Daniel Morales leading the way. Baker, first year he was a tight end. Second year he was a wide receiver. This year he's a running back. And on 2nd down and 3, he trots out of the game. And we will keep an eye. He may need a retaping of that shoe on his right foot. He'll take care of it himself. That's what Cameron Baker does. Again, tight formation in this double wing. Bukowski on the toss with blockers in front is going to have a first down. And we've seen this. It's just methodical, as John alluded to earlier, like an amoeba, just moving down the field. Everybody kind of in sync. You got to be so stout to stop this offensive line and the movement at your front 4 or front 5, front 6, however you have up there.
And the comments that John Wolf made at halftime are telling about how this might go down the stretch.
And a fumble, a takeaway, a strip, and a jump to the end zone. Not enough. But how about that? In the pile, Jace Fisher ripped the ball out of Peterbaugh, and while everybody was looking to see if the running back was going to go down, nope, headed the other way was Jace Fisher with a large man return almost to the end zone, and this game has changed on a dime.
Well, how about that? You see him right there. He comes out the backside. Jace Fisher, 56. Look it, the big fella's got some speed. All the way down inside the 5, and suddenly with that, this AL offense with a chance to level things.
Again, they have not scored this year, but Fisher's strip and return has given them an opportunity, and a bad snap. Lorenzen will just have to fall on it. Be a loss of about 7 yards.
Sean Lorenzen falls on the ball.
That's a nice job.
Wow, I mean, you have such an opportunity here. Ball on the 5-yard line. Your offense has struggled throughout the first half. Now you got a chance with a short field and first play from scrimmage. A bad snap, and now it's 1st and goal from the 12.
Ellis in motion, whistle sounds, and the AL sideline reacts in disgust.
And what you missed there was snap infraction. So either double clutched it or moved the ball. And that's going to move them back 5 more. Now, 2nd and goal from the 18.
Again, this is on the heels of a Fisher strip and return to start the second half. Lorenzen looking to the end zone on the rollout. Now he's pressured. He's got to get rid of it. And he just throws it over the head of a lineman, or actually Stottlemyre, his fullback. It's incomplete, and all of a sudden the good tidings in the shadow of the goal post are now not so good.
Well, we'll forgive you for thinking Jasper Stottlemyre is an offensive lineman, Gary, but oh boy, Lorenzen gets driven into the turf.
Just an explanation. There was no grounding because Stottlemyre, fullback, was there. And the referee had confused a little bit too. He said, boy, Stottlemyre's a big fullback. 3rd down and 18. John, your crystal ball here, because you need points. You haven't scored all year. You got the best opportunity you've had all season. The game is tight. It's a touchdown game. You got to score a touchdown. They'll do it with Herzog and a great open field tackle in the backfield. Brady Carroll in his first start at Mike linebacker tonight, and he makes a tackle of Herzog, and that'll be 4th down.
Watch Carroll shoot the gap just in the backfield before that offense knew what hit it. Great play by Brady Carroll.
They will attempt a field goal. The ball will be spotted at the 28-yard line. It is a 38-yard field goal for Jasper Stottlemyre. The kick is up, and the kick is no good. And Abraham Lincoln with a great opportunity. They cannot put points on the board, and it remains 7-0, and TJ dodges one after the fumble.
Well, that hurts. That is actually painful. Stottlemyre, I mean, just misses it. It just stays left. To have the ball at the 5-yard line, 1st and goal, trying to get your first points of the season in the 3rd game, that's painful.
Great shot. You saw the emotion on both sides after the missed field goal. Here's Baker. Baker's not going anywhere. And a fantastic tackle just trailing him. Isaac Lidgett, who is one of the 9 two-way starters for Abraham Lincoln. Defensive end, tight end, 48 in your screen. He did not let Baker get away from him and hauled him down for a minimal gain.
That's one of the things I was talking about, what John Wolf said. He said, you know, we had these guys that they make a 4-down stand on the goal line, and then they move to offense and can't move the ball against their defense. And that's telling that they're using guys both ways. The 4th quarter in this game is going to be so interesting.
This is Baker running over a Lynx out to the 29, pick up a 7. How about that? The intricacies of this offense that TJ runs. Colton Kinney, the quarterback, tossed it to Baker and then was his blocker.
Hey, it's all hands on deck when you run this kind of offense. You'll see it. It's not too unlike what you see Georgia Tech or Navy run. It's a little different because they won't run the wedge play. But you'll see, you know, some quarterback midline stuff. The wings coming around on those speed sweeps.
Here's Baker with blockers in front, cuts off the blockers, and now it's a track meet. There he is, the touchdown maker. He will take it. 71 yards. 2 touchdown runs tonight by TJ. Both have been 71 yards. And Cameron Baker, like he has been throughout his career, is in the end zone. What a deflating turn of events for AL.
And it looks a lot like the Lukavsky run, doesn't it? He starts play side, squeaks out the back, and then there's nobody home. And Baker just runs away from everyone. Good patience, good toughness to run through a couple of tackles before he finds that open space on the backside.
Cameron Baker becomes the first player to score 3 straight years on the game of the week.
How about that?
So please share that trivia with your friends. It may come in handy if you ever run into Alex Trebek. TJ going for 2. And they will not get it. So Calhoun is denied, and it'll remain on the board. 13-0. Cameron Baker with his 4th touchdown run of the year. 13-0. TJ over AL. Back with more Game Time on YurView after this.
You're the decision maker, weighing every option to make the smartest choice. That's why you start with Nebraska Medicine, an entire network of top providers working together to keep you healthy. From extraordinary primary care to world-leading research and treatments, so you can be confident everyone's health is in good hands. The state's most comprehensive care in 19 locations. Nebraska Medicine.
When kids have internet access at home, they're more successful in the classroom. If your child is a K-12 student and your family receives government assistance, you could qualify for discounted Cox high-speed internet for only $9.95 a month. To enroll, call 855-222-3252 or visit cox.com/C2C. And while you're there, check out the Cox Digital Academy for educational tools and web tips for the whole family.
Welcome back to Game Time, the Iowa Western game of the week. 13-0. TJ, 2 71-yard touchdown runs, one in the first quarter, and now here in the third quarter, courtesy of Cameron Baker. Right after Abraham Lincoln had a chance to score for the first time this year, but a bad snap, penalties, and then a missed field goal, and TJ makes him pay. And an onside kick is still loose, recovered by, on the second opportunity, Thomas Jefferson.
How about it? They haven't kicked deep yet, Gary. The opening kickoff was a little pooch kick down to about the 40-yard line. After they scored their first touchdown, they did the same thing opposite field. And right here, an onside kick, ball back, 13-point lead. No prisoners being taken by Thomas Jefferson after 10 straight losses in this series.
Well, it was a year too late, but TJ recovers an onside kick against AL. Last year, that's how the game ended in a controversy. Now up 13-0, and here's Cameron Baker. And he just rumbles and tumbles for 8 yards. Number 1 team over in Nebraska in Class A, Omaha Burke, won last night 63-28. Omaha North, number 3, beat Bellevue East earlier today 67-0. Millard West, who we saw last week, now 3-0. They beat Lincoln Southwest 42-23. Number 4 versus number 9. Lukowski is going to get a first down for TJ. We will have Millard North and Omaha Creighton Prep next week on Thursday night. Creighton Prep leads unbeaten Fremont at halftime 13-8. And Millard North is up in the third quarter 35-28 against Papillion La Vista.
Well, now it's basically 2 straight possessions on defense for this Lynx defensive unit, and you see that Baker and company starting to break a few more tackles, just making a few more yards after contact, starting to wear on the Lynx defense just a little bit.
That's a pickup of 10, and you can see here, John, as you've been talking about all night. How are you stopping him?
He's so big. At 6'2", 2 1/4. And he's a running back with, as you saw, electric speed.
He's a junior, averaged 9.2 yards per carry last year. As a sophomore, player of the year in this city. As Seneca Calhoun gets inside of the 20, so into the red zone. Bring up 2nd down for TJ.
Yeah, and I thought that there could be a little bit of a horse collar here, as just hooking inside of that horse collar area. Cole Shinost, lucky to get away with one there.
Two 71-yard touchdown runs. Peterbaugh just following his blocker straight up the middle. Keep the legs a-moving. And it'll be short of the first down. So it'll be 3rd down and short for TJ. 13-0 as the clock continues to tick here in the 3rd quarter from Wickersham Stadium. Tired crew on hand on a beautiful night for football. Well, we have been very fortunate so far this year. The weather. 3rd down and 6. And Lukowski is going to lunge. An ankle couldn't stop him, and he got a 1st down. So they'll move the sticks again, and this is typical TJ football. And now they're starting to wear down that front 7, and trying to put him another 7, and that might be too much. AL had their opportunity. Just, you could see the shoulders went from being held high to dipping a little bit after they weren't able to put the ball in the end zone after the strip fumble by Jace Fisher.
Well, what went from 2 and 3 yard gains in the first half are now looking like 4 and 6 yard gains.
Kinney will throw it to the end zone wide open. Touchdown.
It's Kinney to Kinney.
Colton to Cody. The senior twins hook up. Touchdown pass from 12 yards out. So I'm guessing the Kinney family, they don't have to choose either one of their sons. They're happy. And he was a wide open, great play fake.
They throw it so rarely that when they do, it's a complete surprise. And Kinney just sneaks out behind everyone. He's wide open in the corner of the end zone.
There's a flag down before TJ attempted the 2-point conversion. Up 19-0. Couple of scores here in the 3rd quarter. Mitchell Flowers, in the first game of the season, injured his ankle. He was the starting quarterback. Now he's been out there on defense, but not at quarterback tonight. Grant Anderson was hoping he'd get him back, but the way that Colton Kinney has played, TJ hasn't missed a beat. They'll go for 2 again, push back 5 yards. Kinney will throw it up, and this time he overshoots Evans. So it'll remain 19-0.
And it has a much different feel to the game, doesn't it? And we're going to look back on this drive a little bit. And it gets started with that onside kick. Had a chance to recover it, did AL, and TJ just fought for it a little bit harder on the ground. And a couple of good runs. Got him down in striking distance, and then the rare pass, Kinney to Kinney, 19-0.
Now AL needs points. Field goal, touchdown, anything. And you probably won't get it on a return, because as we've seen, TJ started that touchdown drive on an onside kick that they recovered. They're not kicking it deep. There's either squibbing it or they're popping it in the air.
Yeah, the up man better be ready, because it looks like Brant Anderson has no intention of sending this ball back to a dangerous return man.
Game time on YurView from Council Bluffs. Council Bluffs, Thomas Jefferson to kick off a little poocher. And will be returned, but not much. Great coverage by TJ. The speed took over. The indecisiveness by the return man, Chase Ritchie, and he only got a couple of yards. And AL now needs something big. We haven't mentioned Herzog's name very much since the first quarter.
We're checking to see if there's a face mask here, but I think it's just wrapped around the neck. But those pooch kicks have been effective for Thomas Jefferson tonight. No return yards virtually on the evening for AL at all.
And here is Herzog with a pickup of about 4.
You see him out there. He's still fighting hard. He's chopping the feet, dancing around, trying to make something happen. No give up in the senior yet.
Unlike last year, Herzog and Stottlemyre haven't been able to get on track. Herzog last year, 4 touchdowns, 618 yards rushing. Injuries really kind of derailed AL's season. John Wolf believes, though, he's created the culture of success that they're going to have a breakthrough. Direct snap. Here's Herzog off to the races with sprinter speed. And he's got a nice gain in the first down.
That's a good job by Reggie Evans coming out from his linebacker spot just to get in front of Stottlemyre and occupy him for a second and turn the play back to the inside. You're going to see Evans flash right there. And Herzog has to cut it back in to where the rest of the defense is. And that's what you want from your outside linebacker. He's got to go out there and take on a block and turn the play back inside.
AL has been very unpredictable on offense. They've had a lot of different formations, a lot of motion. And they're just going to go with the direct snap to Herzog. The Wildcat. There's a flag down as Herzog cuts it up and crosses midfield, but this is going to come back.
Yeah, Daniel Mills got held in the backfield. He had broken through. You're going to see it right in the middle of the screen right there. Mills was in the backfield, and Brody Fouch had no choice but to grab on for dear life.
Sean Lorenzen comes back into the game, the quarterback, but he'll be split wide out. The bottom of your screen in the slot, 2 to the top. Now that is Lorenzen in motion. Direct snap to Herzog. He'll run it again. And Evans comes up to make the tackle.
Another good read from Evans, right in there. Just shoots the gap, makes the play on Herzog, brings up a 2nd and long now. And as we've seen, when this AL offense gets in 2nd and long, 3rd and long situations, that it hasn't turned out well.
Little trickery. Lorenzen will throw it deep. And the pass is broken up.
The coverage was fantastic by Cody Kinney. He was step for step with the wide receiver, Nate Kleigel. Now the Wildcat. Lorenzen comes around, heaves this one deep. And look at Kinney's positioning. Perfect. He's got inside position. No chance for Kleigel to go up and get it. Just a really nice job.
Third down. And a long way for AL. Lorenzen with 4 wide receivers. Stottlemyre is the lone back in the backfield. TJ showing pressure, and here they come. Sorensen rolling out of the pocket. Steps up. He's hit. The ball pops free. It is loose, and it is whistled incomplete. And it'll be 4th down as Lorenzen took a big hit.
Lorenzen's taking a couple of shots back there tonight. You can see he's a little bit weary. This one comes blindside.
Jared Masick, the defensive end, hit him square. And AL will have to punt the ball. Stottlemyre will be back to punt it away.
2 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. There aren't too many possessions left for the Lynx, especially with the way TJ can grind the clock down.
Stottlemyre quickly gets the punt away and gets a nice bounce Roll out at the 23-yard line. 19-0. TJ leading AL. They've scored twice here in the third quarter. You get a look at Reggie Evans. There's so much more to that picture as Megan Scolio joins us. Megan.
Hey guys, senior Reggie Evans is one of the stronger kids on the team according to TJ head coach Brant Anderson. He's always in the weight room, he does pull-ups, he benches. It's what you might not know is that he does it all with one hand. Evans was born without his left hand. He's not sure what caused the condition or what it's called, but it certainly doesn't slow him down. He's played all over the field from offensive line to linebacker to tight end and even fullback. Evans is also getting looks from NAIA and D3 schools after attending a camp at Midland University. Evans serves as quite the inspiration for his teammates, guys.
Thanks, Megan. And John had a chance to talk to Reggie prior to this game. Wears number 9 because his brother wore number 9. His dad convinced him, you know what, there are no limitations for you, son. And Reggie's played all over. He's a 3-year letterman and an inspiration, not only to fellow teammates, but everybody in the TJ community and around Council Bluffs. And he hasn't let anything stop him, and we've seen tonight that is definitely the truth.
He's come with some thunder, hasn't he?
Peter Baugh holding on to the ball. He had the ball stripped away earlier in this quarter. He has swung down at the 33 and should be close enough for a first down, and it is.
One of the things that I thought was interesting about talking to Reggie is he's not really interested in, he's okay serving as, this sort of inspirational figure, but he's not really interested in it. He doesn't really care. He's out here to play football. He's not here to inspire anyone or do anything of that sort. He loves the game and he loves playing ball.
Here's Baker cutting back as he's weaved his way through traffic. Diving
like he's got a cramp
out across the 40. Yep. Immediately grabbed onto the back of that left calf.
Might be both of them at this point.
It was warm today. It was in the upper 80s. Again, here in the Omaha metro area, Omaha Council Bluffs, separated by the Missouri River. In July, it was extremely warm. August, when football practice began, it was not. It was very comfortable. And this is the warmest Friday night that we have had, as Cameron Baker is really experiencing cramping issues now as they work on him. 89.7 The River is your home to awesome alternative rock music. Check them out on the stream at 897theriver.com, or you can search the App Store for 89.7 The River. Iowa Western, the world is waiting, and you can hear Iowa Western football with the voice of the Reavers, Jake Ryan, on 89.7 The River tomorrow night when they take on Fort Scott. Homecoming at IWCC. There'll be players off of these two teams that will end up at Iowa Western. Boy, and these are some severe cramping issues for Baker.
He had them both going. I hate to laugh about it, but he had them both going at once, and they'd get one done, and then the other one would cramp up.
Well, and he was about ready to get up, and that right leg was coming down, and he immediately grimaced. And trainers from both sides are working on the talented running back. Iowa Prep has him as the #1 running back in the state for the class of 2019, the 7th overall player in the state in 2019.
Cramps this bad, you're probably not going to see Cameron Baker for the rest of the night now. That's a quarter of football. You're going to be without number 25. We don't see guys come back from cramps this bad very much. I mean, they might come out a couple of plays and then they're going to cramp up again.
You see, as this play comes to an end, right there, both legs. Now he is up and limping off the field, dragging that right leg. We've been there before. That just is, most of us, is when we're getting out of bed in the morning. You get that morning cramp back of your leg. Cameron Baker got at the end of a 10-yard run. We'll go over to the sidelines and we'll keep an eye on it, see if he comes back into the game. He's got a 71-yard touchdown run tonight. TJ trying to go to 2-1. Again, their goal is to win one more game than last year and get in the playoffs. They were 5-4 last year. Bukowski, who has a 71-yard touchdown run, weaves his way through traffic and had the ball knocked out of his hands. He was carrying it loosely, still loose on the field turf. There are blue jerseys all over it, and another turnover by TJ.
Well, that's exactly what Lincoln needed. Bukowski just picking his way, trying to find some space, and he pops out the back door, but going into contact, didn't cover up the ball, and got punched out of there once again.
Fourth turnover of the night for TJ. Here's AL with another opportunity. Lorenzen keep it and goes down, and he's hit late by Evans, but no flag. As Lorenzen was going to get rid of it right away, and the play wasn't there, and he just tucked it in and got almost back to the line of scrimmage.
Well, here he goes down, and Evans kind of comes in with the little forearm shiver to the face mask. Certainly could have seen it called a late hit. Normally any contact to the head of a quarterback, downed or otherwise, gets called.
Last year we had a crazy fourth quarter as TJ almost rallied to win. Now it'll be AL's opportunity to rally if they are to win their 11th in a row in this series. The fourth quarter upcoming. TJ 19, AL nothing. Stay tuned for more Game Time on YurView after this.
At Diventures, we want to create a full-service customer experience. Cox Business, as our technology partner, does exactly that. The team at Cox Business came in, took a look at our business, and recommended top-notch solutions. With IP-Centrics, we have a managed, scalable solution to meet all of our customer needs. We get hundreds of phone calls a day, thousands over the course of a week. Because we have Cox Business, we can focus on what we love to do, being on the water and in the water.
At Woodhouse Auto Family, the buying experience is different, and the over 27,000 customers who bought from us last year know why. Our knowledgeable sales staff know the brands, the products, and take time to get to know you and guide you to your perfect vehicle. And that experience continues with any of our 16 service locations, and with trained advisors and technicians to help you maintain your vehicle. Experience the difference. Purchase with confidence. This is Woodhouse.
Bouncy. It's almost alive.
Advertising used to be simple. Make an ad, put it on TV, get results. Today, with all the new viewing options, it's a lot more complex. At Cox Media, we make the complex simple. With precise targeting, transparency, and automation, we connect advertisers to audiences. Anyone, anywhere, on any screen. Advertising simplified. Contact Cox Media to learn more.
Alongside John Schreiner, I'm Gary Sharp. Welcome back to Game Time. The Iowa Western Game of the Week is right here in the home of Iowa Western, Council Bluffs. So we go to the fourth quarter. TJ leads AL 19-0. AL is going to need to rally to avoid going 0-3 on second down and 11 to begin the fourth quarter. Lorenzen, little pop pass to Stoudemire, and that is broken up, and Evans was right there. Reggie Evans has been all over the field tonight.
Ooh. You know what? As a linebacker, I can understand why there's some NAIA and D3 programs looking at him, because he delivers some punishment. He gets there in a hurry, seems to make great reads. Evans is a good player.
Third down and 11. The football in Council Bluffs much improved. There are some Division I prospects in this city, in this game. Lorenzen to put it up on third down and long, deep down the field, and it's picked off. Bukowski has his third interception of the night.
He's had quite a night, hasn't he? 3 interceptions and a 71-yard touchdown run. He might get the chat with one Megan Scolio after the game.
In double coverage. And the way that TJ, their offense, turns the clock, AL's chances are dwindling.
I guess Cameron Lukavsky was looking out for his plus-minus numbers. He fumbled on the previous possession and then got another takeaway here. So +2 for the night for Cameron Lukavsky.
And here is the aforementioned. The pickup of a yard. Cameron Baker is not in on this series. There's a lot of, any coach you talk to, whether it be the two here tonight, St. Albert, Lewis Central, elsewhere in Central or Southwest Iowa, they will tell you that there's some blossoming football talent in Council Bluffs. Calhoun following his blockers, sidestepping a fallen defender out across the 45 for a pickup of 6. And ultimately here in Council Bluffs, especially in the upper classes like AL, TJ, Lewis Central, you are judged against the Des Moines schools who you are in districts with. But as of late, the Council Bluffs schools have been holding their own. And as we mentioned, they have for next year's senior class the top quarterback and top running back right here in this city. Kenny to put it up. He's got 1 touchdown to his twin brother, and this time he's got an incomplete to Reggie Evans, but it's pass interference as Evans collided with Spencer Decker. And Evans, as we mentioned all night, he's been doing everything offensive, defensively, and I think he was also officiating a little bit there.
He wanted to make the call, didn't he? But it's a pretty easy one to make. Decker's all over the back of the intended receiver. In fact, knocks him to the ground before the ball gets there. Pretty simple call. It's going to result in a first down for the Jackets, and time keeps rolling.
As we have friends of YurView that are tuning in around the country, just get a look at the pass interference, which has resulted in a first down, moving the ball to the 39-yard line. We keep in our thoughts our friends of YurView that were affected by Hurricane Harvey, or our friends that are going to be affected by Hurricane Irma. There's TJ with a first down run for maybe a yard. Peterborough. Clock running. We're in the 4th quarter. 19-0 TJ. The Yellow Jackets trying to go to 2-1 on this young season.
It's been a pretty dominating performance from TJ. You wouldn't know watching this game that they're the team that's lost 10 in a row in this series. They have been dominant in all phases.
Calhoun's got a lane. Boy, almost split the defenders, and he would have had a goal line in front of him. But he is tripped up. There is a Lynx player that is injured after the pickup by Calhoun, his longest run of the night.
Yep. Good job following his blockers. Just finds that seam. Gets upfield.
And another cramping issue. Cameron Baker has been chased from the game due to cramps. And there is a...
That's Reggie Evans.
Evans is down. There is also a AL player on the field as well that is encountering some cramping issues as we hit the 4th quarter. All Game Time high school football games are streamed live each week at YurView.com. Also check back throughout the week for game highlights and additional coverage, including the new weekly high school football recruiting podcast, Over the Middle, with host Jeremy Crabtree. Can't tell you enough. Jeremy Crabtree I've known for a long time. He's one of the best in the recruiting business. Lives in Kansas City. Has connections all over college football and high school football. It is well worth your time. Download it. Listen to the recruiting podcast, Over the Middle, on YurView.com. And again, if you like what you're seeing tonight, why not? Those beautiful pictures on a beautiful night. Tell your friends that every Friday night, or we sneak in a couple Thursdays, including next week, we're right here with you at YurView.com. And not just for the live games, all the other content that is up there. John has a preview story weekly on the upcoming game. And for next week, when we see Omaha Skutt and Elkhorn, former Nebraska quarterback and highly successful Skutt head coach Matt Turman. Kinney with a keeper. Keeps the clock moving, and
Some good yardage on second down, leading to second down.
Not to be missed is next Thursday's game. Got a little chance to sit down with Creighton Prep
2-yard gain on the play.
breakout star running back Elisha Birds. Very interesting young man. Had some things to talk about what he wants to do professionally in his future, and what he has to say might be a bit of a surprise to some people.
Was surprised to some when he went for over 200 in the opening game this year. Game time on YurView. Pewter ball, touchdown. 23 yards out. Broke a couple arm tackles, and the seniors in the end zone. And this, for that fan base, might be the first time since 2008 a victory by them in this city rivalry.
They look kind of ho-hum on the other side, don't they? It's just pewter ball breaking tackles. And when you stack that many people in the box, as you have to do against this offense, once you get to that second level and you get beyond it, there's nobody else back there.
Well, we're getting closer to a little bit of orange being on the traveling trophy for TJ and AL. PAT is good. 26-0. TJ leads AL. Stay tuned for more Game Time on YurView after this.
Schedule your campus visit today. Iowa Western. The world is waiting.
Welcome back to Game Time, the Iowa Western game of the week. And Thomas Jefferson, after leading 7-0 at halftime, has exploded for 19 here in the second half. The all-time mark in this series, AL 56-48-8, but 10 hangs over this TJ program, and that's 10 straight wins by AL.
That means before the streak, it was 48-46. TJ.
Ty Harold with a little pop-up kick. And good coverage downfield, and that is Reggie Evans. Boy, we might be entering the territory of a difficult decision on our player of the game.
That's true.
We may have a couple of guys. Could Megan have to pick? She could be the tiebreaker.
Evans has got to have 9 or 10 tackles now, and he's made some big plays on defense.
And our guys in the truck, they're campaigning for somebody. We're campaigning for somebody. Megan is campaigning for somebody. So, just to be fair, we're going to view the whole team. 26-0 TJ with the lead. Now AL needs points, and they need them quick. They haven't scored yet this year. Lorenzen overthrew his wide receiver.
And it's just been tough. For AL, you look and you say, well, you have Jasper Stottlemyre and Lanny Herzog, who had such good years last year running the ball. What happened? And the difference is the offensive line for AL and the defensive line for TJ. That defensive line for Thomas Jefferson has been so good at occupying blocks and letting those linebackers, i.e. Reggie Evans, fly around and make plays. Look at that. Again, outside linebacker gets upfield, unblocked, to make a play. The three in the middle, Mills, Salazar, and Mosick, they're not going to show up a lot on the stat sheet tonight, but they've been really good at just clogging up that middle, and the linebackers have filled the gaps and made plays all night.
McBride and Green from their linebacker spots made the hit on Herzog. Thursday night, Millard North about to pick up their first victory of the year against Creighton Prep, who is a couple of minutes away from going to 2-1. They're winning 34-8 at Fremont. The Tigers unbeaten coming into that game for the first time since 2001. Lorenzen's pass picked off. Nope, broken up. My bad. Looked like it was going to be picked off. Then Herzog said, nope, we don't need another one of those. Knocked it away. And it will be 4th down.
That would have been interception number 4 for Cameron Lukavsky. And I don't know what the state record is in Iowa. I do know that it's 4 in Nebraska.
4th down.
But so we would have been approaching state record territory for interceptions in a game by one player.
Stottlemyre will punt the football. 26-0 TJ. Thomas Jefferson this year has beaten Denison Shelswig. They lost to Glenwood, who is a very good historic program, as this punt doesn't travel as far as Stottlemyre wanted it to.
8:19 to go. 26-0. This is a position where Thomas Jefferson in the last decade hasn't been really used to. It's almost time to put the second stringers in, and not because you're behind by 26, it's because you're ahead by 26.
Next week, we've got 2 games for you. That's right, double the fun of game time. Iowa Western's game of the week on Thursday, Millard North against Omaha Creighton Prep. Then on Friday, Omaha Scott Catholic at Elkhorn. Next Thursday and Friday. Yep, you get double Gary, John, and Megan and the crew on game time, only on YurView. Kinney's pass, wide open, caught. And caught from behind. Ball comes free. Colton to Cody, Kinney to Kinney. They've hooked up for a touchdown already tonight, and just shy of getting their second one.
How about this? 26-0, foot on the gas, throwing it. First down, Kinney to Kinney, wide open. But thankfully, from an AL perspective, you had the good speed of Connor Ellis to track down Cody Kinney.
47-yard pass.
5-yard line.
So Brent Anderson taking any chances. And Calhoun for a touchdown. 4-yard run. And TJ's been pretty methodical here in the second half.
Seneca Calhoun with a 5-yard touchdown.
You can see how this offense starts to wear on you and some things open up. And they're executing some big plays, and they've got AL on their heels. No Cameron Baker due to cramps on the sidelines. Doesn't matter. A lot of weapons. Just a little toss to Calhoun and untouched.
Well, we said it from the outset that conditioning was going to be a big key in this one, and as the fourth quarter has shown,
Harold attempting the point after.
TJ, that offense, it just grinds on you. And when you're playing like Abraham Lincoln is, with so many guys going both ways, especially in that situation, playing against a run-heavy offense, the legs start to get a little bit tired. You're a half step slow, getting to where you need to be on the field, and before you know it, you're down 30.
As you are leaving
the timeout is taken before the conversion attempt.
You do not have to exit through the ticket window gate.
Council Bluffs Abraham Lincoln, they coaching history, has a connection to Omaha. Now retired legendary coach Walt Olson was a coach at AL back in the late 90s. Don't miss any of the action from tonight or previously or what's ahead. Go to yourview.com/football and sign up for the Game Time newsletter to get the previous week's highlights, stories, and recruiting news, along with a preview of the upcoming week's matchups delivered straight to your inbox. Like, you can keep up to date on where Cameron Baker is going to go to school. But he's got some time before he has to make that decision, as the PAT is good from Ty Harold. And it is 33-0, 26 points now in the second half after Seneca Calhoun went for 4 yards out for the touchdown. Now 8:03 to go. And TJ will get to enjoy that traveling trophy that will reside on Broadway for the next year. And they will more importantly go to 2-1. Next week they are at Sioux City West. Abraham Lincoln next week. They are home for Sioux City North. So Interstate 29 opponents for both of these schools.
And this AL schedule to start the season is pretty brutal. I mean, you start the season against powerhouse Glenwood, then you go and play a city rival who's got one of the top quarterbacks in the Midwest. Well, and you knock him out after 3 plays, but still managed to lose 51-0. It just, and then you come here to the city rivalry with TJ, and the fourth quarter has gone the way it has.
First time tonight they kick it deep, and Ellis says, "Oh, that was a mistake." Here's Ellis cutting to the outside. Inside TJ territory, runs by the kicker Harold, and then he's finally pulled down at the 30-yard line. Connor Ellis with a big return.
Outside of the stripped fumble we saw earlier,
Don't fucking kick if you win.
this is the best play of the night for Abraham Lincoln. We've seen Ellis's speed on display when he ran down Cody Kinney after that 45-yard pass just a moment ago. And perhaps there's a reason TJ hasn't kicked it deep all night.
AL had a chance earlier. Now they've back a quarterback in, the very good-looking freshman who hands it off to a very good-looking senior, Lanny Herzog, for a good gain. In now is the freshman quarterback, Lennox Brown, 5'11", 140 pounds. When we were on the field before the game, myself, John, and Megan, we all commented on how good this freshman looked.
Yeah, nice delivery. Looks like he's got really good mechanics. And list him at 5'11". He's a bit closer to 6 foot at this point. But you got to imagine he's a 6'2", 6'3", 6'4" kind of guy when he gets to be a senior. Going to grow into that body a little bit. Might have something working there.
Here's Herzog with a block from Ellis. Broke another tackle on a collision, and he keeps moving on down to the 1-yard line.
Well, this is what we wanted to see from Lanny Herzog early in the game, was his ability to just kind of pinball off tackles and keep the feet moving. Here he trucks this one down inside the 5.
Let's count how many tackles here.
There's 1, 2.
Great block by Decker.
3, 4, 5, 6. The 7th tackler finally brings him down at the 3-yard line.
Herzog leaning over and trying to catch an extra breath. There is a TJ player down. Another cramping issue. 7 to go here in the fourth quarter. Get kickoff temperatures in the mid-80s. And this has started to creep up in the second half. And Herzog is a 3-sport athlete at AL.
Some of that wrestling balance on display on that last run.
I say some of the best wrestlers, football players are linemen because of their feet, and then
understanding of leverage.
Balance.
Linemen.
Cody Kinney walks off the field. So at the 3-yard line, another opportunity for AL to score their first touchdown of the year. Around the quarterback. Hand off to Stottlemyre, and there it is. The first touchdown of the year for the Lynx. From 3 yards out, the big fullback, Jasper Stottlemyre.
Well, they break the shutout streak at the very least. This game's not going to turn out the way they want it to with just under 7 minutes to go in the fourth. But Stottlemyre able to find his way into the end zone and put points on the board for the first time this year for Lincoln, and hopefully for John Wolf and company that can start something on the offensive side of the ball.
Gone 11 quarters to begin the year without scoring. But after a long kickoff return from Ellis, the 3-yard touchdown run by Stottlemyre, and now the Lynx going for 2. Brown hands it off. Stottlemyre says, I'll take 6, I'll take an additional 2. And it's 33-8. Now, I'll bring this up because there's 6:49 to go in the game. We have seen the last couple of years things get really wild about this time in the fourth quarter.
Yep.
It's a heck of a mountain to climb, but this is ALTJ. Anything can happen, especially when you get a return like this from Ellison. Maybe upcoming an onside kick is that long return led to, after a run by Herzog that got him to the 3-yard line, Stottlemyre tumbling into the end zone. So John Wolf and his staff, they'll decide here, what do you want to do? It is 33-8, 6:49 to go. It's still a long, long way from getting into the tension convention category. But weird hops, weird emotions. Last year it came down to the final play and we thought going to the fourth quarter it was over. And then all of a sudden UCLA, Texas A&M 2017 broke out last year at this ballpark.
Oh, that was crazy, wasn't it? Just touchdown, touchdown, touchdown in quick fashion. And suddenly TJ was back in the game. And then we had what we saw on the replay we thought was not an illegal touching, called an illegal touching on the field. And we felt like if TJ recovered that, they were going to go down, score, put up 2 points on the conversion, and we were going to overtime.
TJ is thinking that this ball might be kicked onside. I got the hands team up, and they are absolutely right. It's popped into the air. It is caught, and TJ will take over.
Well, he's been the center fielder all night. Cameron Lukowski just catches that pop-up kick and gets down. And now one more long drive should about put this thing in the books.
TJ up 33-8. Brant Anderson with some instructions for his quarterback Colton Kinney. Cameron Baker has not played the last few series, went out with cramps, but he does have a 71-yard touchdown run on his resume in his 3rd go around in this rivalry. TJ is trying to figure out the personnel, and now they'll have to take a timeout. Play clock was winding down. There was a lot of confusion on the sidelines, and frustrating from the standpoint that was the first drive after a kickoff. And I think Brant Anderson is trying to get some of his young players into the game. They realized they started doing some counting, and there were 11 out there, then there were 12, and then they were down to 10. So why not take a timeout? Just let everybody take a deep breath for guys that are new into the game, and then they'll reset up 33-8 with 6:49 to go.
Well, you're not supposed to be doing math problems on Friday night in the football stadium. And if you are, it's usually a problem. If you're having to add and subtract and count up, somebody's done something wrong. Save that for Monday morning geometry. But out here, TJ's taking all the right angles tonight. It just since we came out of that second half when they led 7-0, it's just they have overwhelmed and swarmed this AL defense. The offense has looked really good.
Here's Calhoun, who just is fresh off a 4-yard touchdown run. Is hit hard, ball comes free. And it is recovered by TJ. Trailing the play, Jermaine Green came up with it. Already 4 turnovers tonight by TJ. Hasn't hurt him, so to speak. Up 33-8.
Yeah, but it's definitely something that Brant Anderson is going to point to. Even if the score stays as is, 33-8, they're gonna watch this thing back, and he's gonna say, we can't do this on a weekly basis. Putting the ball on the turf this many times, it's not gonna win any games. You know, you're gonna play teams down the road who, quite frankly, are more advanced offensively than AL. They're gonna be able to put up points off of those turnovers, and you just can't do it.
This handoff to Green will pick up 4 yards. And if they go with the same formation again, I believe all 11 players were within either on the line of scrimmage or within half a yard of the line of scrimmage.
Yep. It's that double wing tight offensive line foot to foot splits.
Kinney keeps it, pushes the pile ahead for about 3, and looks to be enough for a first down.
That's that quarterback midline play where he reverses out just to give his line a little bit of time to get some push up field, and he tucks in behind his fullback. Very effective short yardage play. Another first down for the Jackets.
This is week 3 of the high school season. Week 2 of the college football season already underway. Big game in this state tomorrow. Iowa and Iowa State. The Cy-Hawk Trophy is up for grabs in Ames. Lots of alums in the Wickerstam Stadium stands tonight.
Green again, the ball carrier.
They call this Hate Week over here this side of the river.
One time, Iowa State playing in that game wore uniforms that across the front, where it usually would say state, it said beat Iowa. They didn't beat Iowa.
Well, they didn't beat Iowa for a long time in that series. It was, what, the mid-90s before they started going back and forth, and it became one of those throw out the record games.
Central Iowa, where Iowa State is located, that's Cardinal and gold. Eastern Iowa, where Iowa City is, the University of Iowa, that's black and gold. So Western Iowa is up for grabs. You get a little Iowa, get a little Iowa State, and you get some Nebraska over here on this side of the Missouri River.
Yeah, there's plenty of red and white over here close to the border.
Clock running. TJ is going to win for the first time since 2008 in this series, up 33-8. It was only 7-0 at halftime. You're just tuning in, you're wondering what happened. Well, there was a chance after the opening drive, a strip fumble led to great field position for AL. They're inside of the 5-yard line, but they got pushed back and then missed a field goal as Zach Peterbaugh is brought down. His older brother Nick has had a good night running the ball. He's got himself a touchdown.
You know, we were talking about who supports who over here on the eastern side of the state. I think red and white, cardinal and gold, black and gold. I think everybody can agree that it's blue and white for the Reavers of Iowa Western. You mentioned it, big game with Fort Scott here coming up. Should be a good one. Teams out of that Jayhawk League, usually pretty good. A lot of D1 players stashed on those Jayhawk Conference teams.
Green with the carry.
Well, did we win this discussion on who our player of the game was going to be, who gets the opportunity to talk to Megan at the end of the game?
Well, Gary, you know, the guys in the, we're at the mercy of the guys in the truck. Whoever they show us, that's player of the game, right? But I don't think you can complain. 71-yard touchdown run. He's got 3 interceptions on the night. Cameron Lukavsky had himself a day. And we got to mention that it's his first start at free safety. The guy's been a corner his whole career. Due to injuries, has to move back to free safety, and all he does is come up with 3 interceptions. Pretty awesome performance from the young man.
So apparently due to time constraints, we will not be interviewing the entire TJ team.
Yeah, Megan had plans after the game. That's what I heard.
That's coming up when we are through. That's in 2 minutes and 31 seconds. Ball resting at the 34-yard line. Both coaching staffs using this opportunity to play backups, younger players. Colton Kinney, though, has gone the whole way at quarterback for the Yellow Jackets. A handoff to Green. He just barrels his way for first down yardage.
First down, TJ.
And TJ will move to 2-1. AL will fall to 0-3. And we will go back across the Nebraska, or across the Nebraska side, across the Missouri River. Thursday night, Millard North Creighton Prep. That's a district game.
It is, in fact.
And then Omaha Scott and Elkhorn, which is a key game for both of those teams, who have found themselves in the top 4 in Class B at some point during this early portion of the season. Millard North Creighton Prep, that'll be a really, really interesting test for both sides. And movement, you saw the guard left side flinch. That'll push TJ back 5 yards, minute 44 now to go. Again, big thanks to everybody here at Thomas Jefferson and Abraham Lincoln for their hospitality, for our entire crew and their assistance on getting ready for this broadcast tonight. We always like coming over here. The accommodations are fantastic. We usually have crazy game. We've had our moments here tonight. Kinney turns, keeps, lunges inside of the 30. We're down to our final plays.
This is the kind of late game drive that Brant Anderson certainly wants to see out of his Yellow Jackets. Had the ball for about 5.5 minutes now. Not given Abe Lincoln any chance to think that they were going to mount that comeback after the big touchdown by Stottlemyre. Just squeeze the life out of this one and go home with the first victory in 10 years.
Almost broken up in the backfield. Calhoun did a good job to at least salvage something out of it. An absolutely beautiful night to enjoy a city football game in Council Bluffs. Down to our final play. Stats, highlights, player of the game, chat with Brant Anderson coming up when the final horn sounds. And 2 next week. Well, we're really looking forward to that. Class A and Class B. Final play of the game. Zach Peterbaugh will pick up 10, and the clock will run out. And for the first time since 2008, Thomas Jefferson can say they have won the city game against AL. Final score tonight, 33-8.
And that completes tonight's game.
All the post game is coming up from the victorious Thomas Jefferson sideline. After this, Game Time on YurView.
Where will the next generation of caregivers come from? Who trains them? Who mentors them? Who inspires them? At CHI Health, we believe in the power of education. As partners with Creighton University, we are advancing a new era of academic health care. We're researching and collaborating to bring more minds to every case, every patient, every day. We're giving the future of care a new home. CHI Health. Imagine that.
You're the decision maker, weighing every option to make the smartest choice. That's why you start with Nebraska Medicine, an entire network of top providers working together to keep you healthy. From extraordinary primary care to world-leading research and treatments, so you can be confident everyone's health is in good hands. The state's most comprehensive care in 19 locations. Nebraska Medicine.
At Woodhouse Auto Family, the buying experience is different. And the over 27,000 customers who bought from us last year know why. Our knowledgeable sales staff know the brands, the products, and take time to get to know you and guide you to your perfect vehicle. And that experience continues with any of our 16 service locations and with trained advisors and technicians to help you maintain your vehicle. Experience the difference. Purchase with confidence. This is Woodhouse.
You're watching this week's Game Time on YurView, the Iowa Western Game of the Week. Haven't been able to do that in a long time in this game. Matter of fact, first time in 11 years that Council Bluffs Thomas Jefferson downs Council Bluffs Abraham Lincoln 33-8 here at Wickersham Stadium. They're pretty happy with the Yellow Jackets as she has our player of the game, Megan Scolio, on the field. Megan?
All right, Cameron, let's look at your, first of all, how good does it feel to finally get the win over Abraham Lincoln?
It feels really good. We have a really confident team this year, and we're looking to look forward and beat LC and make the playoffs this year.
Especially after the way last year's game ended, to come out tonight and win the way you guys did, what does that mean to you?
It means a lot. We kind of got real close and had a letdown at the end, so it feels real good to come back and beat them.
Now looking at your stat line, 9 carries, 100 yards, a touchdown. On the defensive side, 3 interceptions. What was working for you tonight?
Emilio, who I filled for safety, helped me a lot for safety. I kind of just found some holes on that big run, and the offensive line had a real good push, so that's about it.
All right, thanks, congrats.
Thanks, Megan. The junior had a big night, part of this 33-8 victory, and you will see plenty of highlights from number 7. As it was a methodical performance to get TJ to 2-1. AL falls to 0-3. It was 7-0, John, at halftime.
It was, and then offense happened for Thomas Jefferson. They got things rolling, started to wear on that defense a little bit. It looked right here early in the second half like we were going to have a little bit of a game. But that possession that started at the 5-yard line for Abraham Lincoln, you had the bad snap, the penalty, the sack, and then the missed field goal by Stottlemyre. And that sort of took the wind, all the wind out of the sails of the Lynx. And Cameron Baker, if it wasn't gone, he squeezed the last little bit out of it with a 71-yard touchdown run. Offense, however, not done. Don't go sit down just yet, because an onside kick. And then it was all TJ from there.
33-8 our final score. Brant Anderson has been on both sides of this rivalry as an assistant at Abraham Lincoln, the head coach at TJ. He's finally got a victory as the head Yellow Jacket, and he is standing by with Megan Scolio. Megan?
All right, Coach, first time in 10 years you guys beat Abraham Lincoln. How does that feel?
It's been a long time coming. We've had some games we could have won, should have won, and just didn't. So it feels good. The kids are happy. Finally got a win.
And I asked Cameron this, but after the way last year's game went, how does it feel to come out and win the way you guys did tonight?
Well, what feels good is that we were able to finish strong. We haven't finished strong. 2 years ago, we didn't finish strong and let the game get away. Last year, we started slow, finished strong, but it was too little, too late. So it's good to put a little bit more of at least complete second half together.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Thanks.
Congrats.
Thanks, Megan. Thanks, Coach. 33-8. TJ, as we mentioned, now 2-1. AL is 0-3. They just held up the traveling trophy, which for the first time since they introduced it to this rivalry about 5 years ago, it has a little bit of orange with it. And there was a lot of orange all over the stat sheet tonight, John.
Yeah, just everywhere, all over the place. And the offense for TJ, 454 yards on the ground. How about that? 454, 558 total. They held this AL offense to less than 100 total yards. 99 yards total offense for the Lynx tonight. Gary, that's not how you win football games.
Nope, and TJ is that the playoffs in their sight. That has been their goal all season long, and they did it with a handful of guys running the football tonight.
300-yard rushers tonight. Cameron Lukavsky with 108 yards. Baker had 145, and Pewterball with 108. So the 3 big backs all did their jobs. Got that triple digits in the rushing yards column.
Next week, Thursday, Friday, here on Game Time on YurView. Millard North, Creighton Prep on Thursday. Scott, Elkhorn on Friday. Thanks for watching this week's Game Time on YurView. The Iowa Western Game of the Week. The final score, Thomas Jefferson, 33. Abraham Lincoln, 8. For John Schreiner and the whole YurView crew, I'm Gary Sharp. Have a good night, everybody.